Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Yes. On a Tuesday, Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Eric Martins will join us, third base coach for the Athletics. And want to talk to Coach about the battles and maybe some friendly banter between the two rookies that are currently dueling for Rookie of the Year. So that's coming up at 11. The question is, should you never hire your heroes? I'll tell you what I mean by that in about 30 minutes, and it's going to be in 30 minutes because you are now a part of 30 minutes of commercial-free sports talk radio, local sports talk radio. We are still giving away tickets to see the Lumineers, and because I played a Lumineers song on my Spotify yesterday, now they are part of my recently played, and my algorithm is all messed up. So thank you very much to our promotions team, because now I have to find a way to either just rock with them or clear it out. And just like the texter said yesterday, whose fiance loves the Lumineers, we're in it. And that's coming up at 1 o'clock if you want those tickets. Oh, my goodness. So much was going on yesterday that I forgot to run the simulator for the NBA draft. So we are going to make sure that we do that at 11 after we talk to Coach Eric Martins, because I can't believe that we did not run it yesterday. Brett Siegel has some Westbrook talk that he is kind of illustrating and talking about in his latest Siegel Scoops. So we'll break that down. We'll also break down the best free agents according to our guy Keith Smith, who I met in Vegas as well. Great guy, and we can't wait to have him back on the show. But there is going to be some football today, because dang it, football is king. That's what they keep telling me, and that's what it is. And Jalen Hurts has taken over the football conversation. Whether or not Jalen Hurts is elite, Cam Newton essentially saying that he's not even a top 10 quarterback. You have people chiming in saying that he might be quote unquote number one just based on how all of that works. Dan Orlovsky says he's number one, at least in the NFC. And it reminds me of conversations about Brock Purdy that we were having before Brock Purdy did anything, right? Yes, he went to the NFC Championship, don't get me wrong, but these were essentially the conversations we were having about Brock Purdy without Brock Purdy winning anything. So it's interesting that we are now here with Jalen Hurts, and how, I guess, captivating the Brock Purdy story was. Maybe some of that is where he was drafted. Maybe a lot of that is where he was drafted. But this is basically the Brock Purdy conversation, right? And I think Jalen Hurts is better than Brock Purdy. I would have to say that he's better than Brock Purdy. But we find ourselves in a similar conversation. And it doesn't matter that Joe Burrow, and why doesn't it matter that Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? But it matters that Jalen Hurts has the offense that he has. Why does it matter? When you look at the numbers that they've put up, why does it matter for some guys rather than others? NFL training camp begins today, so that's a huge reason to kick off our NFL talk as well. But, of course, we have plenty of Kings talk that we are going to break down, because we are the home of the flagship. We also have a little bit of Giants talk coming up, because they stink. They stink. They have lost 6 straight. They have no identity. They are stuck in the middle, very similar to their Sacramento counterparts in the Kings. I would say it's different because I think the Giants took bigger swings, if you will. And obviously the money situation in baseball is different, because the limit does not exist. But they find themselves in a familiar spot where they are not sure whether they should be buyers or sellers. And me personally, it's funny how you can fan differently for different sports, right? How I fan for basketball is completely different from how I fan baseball, is completely different how I fan for football. And by the way, speaking of football, I didn't come to Vegas to roll the dice. I came to run the table. That's Geno Smith, baby. That's Geno Smith. Okay? He has the one-liners all the time. And to be completely honest, this is from a Gridiron Love. I'm double, triple checking that he said that because it's so hard to keep up with everything. But golly gee willikers, I hope he did. Because that is a crazy line. It's not as good as they wrote me off. I didn't write back, though. But I didn't come to Vegas to roll the dice. I came to run the table. That's what I know I just left Vegas. But when I go back, I'm going to say that before I go into every casino and proceed to lose money. That's going to be my new line instead of clapping, or I'm going to add it on to clapping. I'm going to clap my hands and say, y'all, I didn't come to Vegas to roll the dice. I came to run the table. Then proceeds to probably go one game above 500 again. That's most likely what's going to happen.
Then he rolls a 2 and a 3.
That's right. That's most likely what's going to happen. But I still love hearing my guy Gino. So we are touching on all the sports today, a very well-rounded show. But of course, we are going to keep you aligned with the Sacramento Kings as your home and the flagship. Kyle, let's get to what Zach Lowe had to say because, look, I know pessimistic Allen can show up. I know realistic Allen can show up. I know optimistic Allen can show up. But I was in Vegas as well. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and act like I spoke to as many people on a similar level as Zach Lowe, but I think I did pretty good for myself. And I did hear some of what Zach Lowe was talking about, and we discussed it. The Zach LaVine thing, not even so much the DeMar DeRozan thing, because people will take swings and it doesn't work out. I think a lot of people were just completely confused and just thought it was an oddball decision with the Zach LaVine of it all. But I feel like we might be getting to a level where this thing is maybe a little bit overblown. This is what Zach Lowe had to say.
They have a 2031 swap with the freaking Kings. Any draft, and by the way, one of the talks of Vegas, we're going to get to another depressing team in a second, is just like, what happened to the Kings? Yeah. Just a complete disaster across the board. And they have an unprotected swap with the Kings that they got for facilitating the DeMar DeRozan trade from Chicago to Sacramento.
So that was Zach Lowe, and he's just talking about, oh my goodness, what has happened with the Kings, and it was the talk of Summer League. What has happened with the Kings? I don't like when we act as if we held this team to such a high regard when you didn't, right? When the Beam team was doing their thing, we discussed on this show. And it was a smidge before my time, before I got on these airwaves and brought my family out here to Sacramento, and shout out to the 916. But we're acting, I just cannot stand when people act as if they had so much respect and so much regard for this team or a team, any team. It doesn't have to be the Kings. And now that things have gone in a different way, what a fall from grace. Y'all didn't believe in the Kings. You never did. You said Domantas Sabonis wasn't good enough. You said De'Aaron Fox, he was, yes, the budding superstar, but hey, is he going to be able to get there? Let's not act like there weren't question marks all across the board. And I'm not saying that what he is saying and what people at Summer League were saying is completely incorrect, but can we not do that? Can we not act like everybody respected how good the Kings were, and you didn't have the Kevin O'Connors of the world saying that this thing isn't going to last and that they ain't going to do anything and it was just a cute story? Can we not do that? We don't have to, right? The Kings and the Beam Team season, it was a good situation. These are the same people, and I'm not saying Zach Lowe specifically, but now it's time to pile on because it's fun to pile on because that's what they do. And now it's turned into, oh, they're in such a bad situation, and they were just rocking and rolling along. Were they? Where did you have them pick to finish in the West? Where? Now, some of that is the fact that Monty McNair and the front office that was there, maybe they didn't operate correctly. But let's not act like the Kings just pulled the ejecto button and they were on the precipice of a parade. The Western Conference is a bloodbath, and we all know that. And you can disagree with what the Kings have done. I surely do, basically all 4 hours of the show. But it's this changing of how they were viewed prior to, that's what bothers me. That's what bothers me. Nobody was sitting here picking the Kings to do anything in the West. Hell, they sat here and said that the Kings were only there because it was a soft season and teams were injured. So now all of a sudden, what has happened with the Kings? They made some moves. They're in a certain situation right now. And if anything, that was not the time. This is not the time to talk about the Kings, right? They are trying to make up for the mistakes of the past, right? The Zach LaVine thing for De'Aaron Fox, and I'm not sitting here trying to disrespect Zach LaVine. I hope they come out. I hope they hear all of this because, surprise, surprise, their win total has dropped again. We will give you that number. Their win total has dropped again. So everybody's low on the Kings. Let's kick the little guy while they're down. And what has happened to them? They had such a good situation, did they? If anything, you should have been talking about this months ago, maybe a season ago. We're off that. We are off that. The Kings are coming around the other side now. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to happen this season. And I've told you right now, I hope you listen to the Allen Stiles Show every single day. Because I got mouths to feed, another mouth to feed. But the reality is Scott Perry can only do so much. We've compared it to cleaning your room. We've compared it to cleaning your finances. We've compared it to a lot of different things. Scott Perry has been a bit stuck where I want to put out, hey, I'm getting direction from ownership. We have to put out a good product. Do I think that this team, Scott Perry is no idiot. Scott Perry doesn't think that this team is going to compete with OKC, Houston. I think he might want to be pleasantly surprised and be a 6 seed, something like that. But Scott Perry's been around this game too long. They're not operating. They talk as if the Kings are operating, and I'll just say Scott Perry specifically, operating in a different world. Like they can't see. Scott Perry is on Twitter every single day. He sees all of it. What do you want him to do? Monty McNair is gone. Wes Wilcox is gone. Scott Perry is in trying to make the right decisions. Trying to keep everybody at bay. I got to keep ownership happy. I got to keep the fans happy. I got to keep everybody happy. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to draft well for the future. I'm going to bring in a point guard for the present and see where we go. That's all he can do. I just think this whole thing is just a little bit overblown. I will say this, the Kings can't keep making the same mistakes. And I'm assuming that if Scott Perry has full autonomy, they won't. So if anything, it's more about the future. I think how national media looks at the Kings and how other Kings fans look at the Kings are two completely different things. National media looks at the Kings and they say, what are they doing right now? Right? As if we're living in La La Land and we actually think that this roster is going to compete. We understand that Scott Perry and the new front office, it's going to take time. We understand that. Most people understand that. Some don't. And 916-339-1140 if you don't, or don't want to, I should say. The fans, for the most part, not trying to generalize, but for the most part, feel as if I don't trust this team to do what needs to be done in the future correctly. It's all good for us to not really compete at that level this season. But Allen, I'm worried that Scott Perry's not going to get full autonomy, that he's not going to be able to restart this thing when it's time to restart this thing. That's what I'm worried about. So it's two completely different things. So national media is sitting here, oh my goodness, what are the Kings doing? What do you mean? That's an easier answer now. They already brought in Zach LaVine. Scott Perry had nothing to do with that. These conversations, for lack of a better term, are a bit lazy, and I guess we should be kneeling and thanking Zach Lowe for even bringing up the Kings, but I'm not doing that. Because even if it's a sidebar, I was out there at Summer League 2, Zach, and I'm not saying that people were clapping and applauding what the Kings have done, but it was more about what did they do. We know what they're doing now. We know what the market is. Where in the world was Scott Perry supposed to ship off DeMar DeRozan? Because this is what would happen, right? Before all the gambling stuff with Terry Rozier. Breaking news, you have the Kings wanting to get off of the DeMar DeRozan contract and add an expiring contract. You trade DeMar DeRozan for Terry Rozier in 2 seconds. That's what the Kings did. The money works. The Heat get another score, and Terry Rozier, 2 seconds, heading to Sacramento to clear out salary. Now let's go to Zach Lowe's next podcast. Oh my goodness, they traded a Hall of Famer for Terry Rozier in 2 seconds? Why would you do that? Where are you going to get scoring from? Now, I'm not trying to bag on Zach Lowe. I just came across this clip. But there's always going to be a negative if you want there to be a negative. And that might sound insane coming from me, because a lot of times this does skew negative. Why? Because the Kings aren't very good. But we've already seen the apex of, or I'd like to believe we've seen the apex of the bad decision making. Now, there is a constant, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. Ownership can change. Coaching can change. If there is not a monumental thought process change within that organization, then yeah, you're going to repeat the same issues. But as far as the mistakes that were made, or the perceived mistakes that were made with the previous regime, they've moved past that. Scott Perry is in the process of trying to move past that. Because if he sells off DeMar DeRozan for Terry Rozier in 2 seconds, then that's another reason, and that's another loss that the Kings would perceivably have had. That's where it's at. So whether the win total goes up or down, there is no facade or mirage, if you will, that the Kings, at least in my opinion, that the Kings are going to go to the Western Conference Finals or anything like that. Scott Perry has a mess to clean up. So talking as if they're still in the midst, and I think he's started to do some of that. There's only so much you can do, right? We know, and Sean Cunningham, who was on here last week.
Here's Sean Cunningham. Who? I don't know.
Yes, thank you. Sean Cunningham, who was in here last week, talked about the 2027 time frame. He talked about the 2027 time frame. He talked about how everybody is kind of waiting to see what happens. That's just what it is. And I don't expect, Zach Lowe, national writer, one of the biggest writers in basketball. I don't expect him to know that. But on the other side, I'm not going to sit here and act like I was in Vegas hearing a bunch of what are the Kings doing right now. Now, I had conversations that said, what did the Kings just do last season with the Zach LaVine decision and trading and it's less about Zach LaVine and more about why did they rush to trade De'Aaron Fox? Why did they fire Mike Brown? That's all legit. But where we're at now and where we are moving towards with Scott Perry, we're off we are off what happened this past season. We're off of it. So if you don't see what the Kings are attempting to do, you're just not paying that much attention. And they probably aren't. And that's fine. But on these airwaves, with the home of the Kings, somebody is going to have to defend them. And I don't mind being that person, because it doesn't make a ton of sense to sit here and talk about everything that we just talked about with decisions that were made from guys that aren't even here anymore. Now, again, if Vivek Ranadive, and I'm not afraid, even if the power goes out, if Vivek Ranadive does not change his thought process after this season and the Kings do only win 33, 34 games, That is why Kings fans get upset. Hey, at least we had one good year with Monty McNair and the crew. It didn't work out. Okay, let's see what we can do with Scott Perry, but you can't keep doing the same things. It's not about what the Kings are doing right now, because we should all understand what's happening right now. Scott Perry is trying to keep his boss happy while also building for the future. It's that simple. So that part makes sense. But if it doesn't work out, and Scott Perry says, because I don't even know, look, I don't know if Scott Perry is the one, if it doesn't go well this season, that he'll say, hey, it's time to hit the ejecto button. I think he would be, because I think he would just say, there's nothing else we can do. There's no retweaking. If you finish with 35 wins, and which would be the over based on MGM Grand or whoever it is.
Wait, it went down again?
Yes, I will tell you what it is. It went down again.
That's like one a day for the last week.
That's right. So if you have the over, but you won 35 games, it's time to take a grip on reality. And that is where Kings fans are worried. It's not about what's happening right now. We know we're all stuck in a tough spot. We know what the reports are. If you listen every day, you are very, very well educated and well informed on what's going on. If there was a market for DeMar DeRozan, I don't think he'd still be in a Kings uniform. Excuse me. If there was a market that made sense for DeMar DeRozan, I don't think he'd be in a Kings uniform. I don't know that he'll be in a Kings uniform after the trade deadline. But right now, he is in it. So we understand what's happening. Obviously, when it comes to national media, I don't expect them to know everything. But to sit here and act like I was there for a couple days, I know Sean Cunningham was there. I know Chris Watkins was there for a week. I know Brandon Nunez was there for a week. And we all talked to a lot of people, acting as if everyone was still talking about the decisions that the Kings made. And look, I'm not saying I run in the same circles as Zach Lowe. I was at the media party, though. I was at the media tip-off party, though. I'll give you that.
Was Zach Lowe there?
I did not see him.
Okay, then.
I did not see him.
Well, we know who's more important.
I'm just saying, I did not see him. Okay, he was probably on the list and I wasn't. But I did not see him. But to act like everyone was just perturbed at what the Kings are currently doing, no. Were they still maybe confused at what the Kings did? Of course. But they're gone now. They're gone. Those decisions are gone. The biggest thing for the Kings now is you cannot repeat the same mistakes. That's it. It's that simple. You cannot repeat the same mistakes. 4 hours with you. When we return, what is the connection between the San Francisco Giants and the Sacramento Kings? Never hire your heroes? We'll see. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hobbit, a Hobbit Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for the Hobbit Employee Pricing Plus sales event?
Right now, you can get the family wherever you need to get them when you save up to $17,000 off MSRP on the new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs. With the gas tax having gone up this month, that means you save even more at the pump with one of America's favorite hybrids.
What's happening at the Giant Hobbit Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter?
Well, not only is Hobbit your one-stop shop for new Ram trucks, we are your pre-owned truck superstore. Right now, we have over 100 quality pre-owned trucks in stock. So whatever truck you're looking for, your perfect ride is waiting at Hobbit. Diesels, lifted trucks, 4x4s, Hemis, heavy duties. We have them all waiting for you.
Search, select, and save through our whole inventory, new and used, at hobbitdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hobbit, period. 17,000 total net savings after 7,500 factory rebates and 9,500 dealer discounts. Rebates may include 2,500 2025 select inventory bonus cash, 500 first responder bonus cash for eligible first responders. Employee pricing for all included in dealer discount. VIN number 712-678. See dealer for details.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. Try the TrackMan experience, the very best technology to fit your metalwoods and irons. The new cutting-edge putter fitting studio with its $30,000 worth of technology is ready for your fitting. Hagen Oaks will help you find the best putter for your game. Hagen Oaks offers more technology, more choices, and more service. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531, 808-2531 for more.
And we're back, live during a Flex Alert. Dialed in on the thermostat. Oh, we're pre-cooling before 4 p.m., folks.
And that's the end of the third. Time to set it back to 78 from 4 to 9 p.m. Clutch move by the home team. What's the game plan from here on out?
Laundry?
Not today.
Dishwasher?
Sidelined.
What a performance by Team California. The power truly is ours.
During a Flex Alert, pre-cool, power down, and let's beat the heat together.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking in the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hop Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com. Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Somebody might take this the wrong way, but hey, it is what it is. I just saw that our old buddy, former coworker Joe, took his son to Vegas. And from the looks of it, I'm still trying to figure out ages, but his son is, gotta be, he's gotta be 5 or 6 from the looks of it.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe even a little older than that.
He was a baby when I first started working here.
Okay, well, what's that math then?
About 5 or 6.
Okay, so
maybe 7.
5, 6, or 7. He's walking. He's potty trained. He can enjoy things. He's got a Kings jersey on. He's a human, right? He is a small human. I gotta say, when I was out there in summer league, and I'm out there with Frank Cardicelli, who's got his kiddo, who is not even. Yes, thank you, Kyle. Not even one yet. I don't know why we're doing the babies in Vegas thing. I just don't know why. I mean, toddler Styles is 2. She is 2.3 or 4. There are a bunch of little toddlers running around. Can somebody explain that to me? Why are you taking your kids that are under 3 years old to Vegas? Can somebody explain? And I'm being dead serious because there were a bunch of kids, babies. That is the last place I want to take my under 3-year-old.
Okay.
And I'm being nice saying 3. I really don't know. I guess at 4 you can pay attention to some of the stuff. So I'll leave it at 3. Why are you doing that? And don't say, oh, well, the oldest is 7 or what. No. Your oldest is 3 or younger. Why are they in Vegas with you? Why? You're getting your butt. You're watching. Daddy, why are you getting your butt spanked by some lady in feathers? What is that?
What's happening now?
What is that? Daddy, why are you in handcuffs? Why are you in handcuffs by this lady?
Okay. You've got another thing going on here.
No, you're walking on the street and somebody is, spanking you, trying to take your picture. Come here, Poppy. Daddy, why is this happening? I watched it.
Okay. I have 2 follow-up questions. What is the minimum age that you would be okay bringing your daughter to Las Vegas on a trip with you?
And I have similar feelings for Disneyland as well, by the way.
The follow-up question to it also is, what is the age you'd be okay bringing your daughter with your wife not there? So it's just... because that means you have to parent, right? Like if you go with your wife, it's like, okay, we can alternate, parenting duties. If it's just you and her,
no,
you have to be with her the whole time.
Everybody is. Oh, hold on, Kyle. I'm not trying to skate your question because I just want them to be 5. Just be 5. Just be 5.
So 5 is.
Just be 5 in any situation. Just be 5 years old. So the chat. King Charles and Chuckles 916. Not everyone has friends, family. Not everyone has a babysitter. I get all that, but I'm still not understanding why you feel like you have to go. So, hey, we can't find a babysitter, so we're just going to bring the kids to Vegas. I'm still not understanding why you have to go to Vegas.
Yeah,
because again, like you said, so both of us are there. Hey, babe, you say with the kids by the pool, I'm going to go gamble. I don't know.
Or do something, right? It's like you guys can still do activities by yourselves.
Separately. Yeah.
But if it's just like, for example.
And by the way, I understand my wife's family lives in Pennsylvania and my family is all over the place. My mom's in the Bay, but my dad is in Illinois. So I don't have a bunch of family around. So I'm not saying it because I have family and we can just go to Vegas or whatever. We can't. I just wouldn't go.
You just wouldn't bring.
I wouldn't do it.
You just wouldn't bring your daughter with you.
No, and I'm not judging. I'm just trying to figure out is it still a good experience? What do you do when you get spanked and your daughter says, "Daddy, why are you getting spanked?" What do you do?
Sounds like 8 or 9.
What do you do? 209 says, love the show, but you give off Karen vibes. Maybe for the fishing, but how am I giving off Karen vibes? I'm completely curious. It smells like weed and cigarettes, and you're getting your butt spanked, and your kid is 2 years old.
Sounds like your Vegas experiences.
I'm just curious.
This is a very specific thing you're worried about, Alan. I don't know why you keep reemphasizing those points.
I'm just curious. 916-339-1140. What do you say to your daughter when you get spanked? What do you say?
Someone is just turning on their car for the first time and is very confused.
I look, and I get it. I guess it just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess if we really want to go to Vegas, and because here's the thing, if you want to go to Vegas, there can't be a show, right? So if, again, under 3 years old, hey, we really just wanted to go to see Backstreet Boys. Well, you can't really do that unless you're taking your 3-year-old to Backstreet Boys. There's just nothing you can do.
I mean, she could do Blue Man Group, right?
Well, I'm saying I have to go I'm going for a specific reason.
I think that's one of those where I don't think both chaperones can go together.
I just, maybe I should have stayed quiet on this, but the weed and the cigarettes and the spanking. And shout out Joe. I'm not saying last names, Kyle.
But that's what we call him. He's Joe Giroz.
916-339-1140. How am I Karen in this very moment? The Giants have lost 6 straight. Somebody should call the cops on them. And your segue strikes again. And
I like that one. That was good.
And some still want to blame Farhan Zaidi. Look, man, I'll say this. When the Giants were playing well and everybody was, oh, my goodness, and look at them. They went and got Rafi Devers. Buster was the man. Now, all of a sudden, that the Giants are struggling. Man, Buster had to clean up this mess from Farhan. Oh, my goodness. I don't understand, and maybe this is maybe I am Karen for this segment, but I don't understand how you're a fan of baseball and you live on every single game when there are 162. I don't get that. You know, it's 10 games into the season, and it's not just Giants fans, Frank Cardicelli, Yankees fan. Oh, yeah, Yankees, baby. Whatever the case is, it's a long season. I just cannot fan for baseball the same way I even fan for basketball. And even basketball has a lot of games, but that's still half the amount of games as baseball. And just everyone, Bonte Hill out in the Bay. Oh, Farhan left this in shambles. Oh, my goodness. What did y'all think was going to happen in 1 year? 1 year. Shambles, really?
And he has already done a lot.
He has done a lot.
Between, if you've read the reports, he essentially negotiated the Matt Chapman deal.
Yeah.
Signed Willie Adames, traded for Rafi Devers. He just spent, $700 million on his middle infield?
So I don't live on football is one thing as training camp starts today. It's week to week. The urgency is real. But baseball, and maybe everyone is just looking for something to talk about. I'm not sure. But as we discuss Buster Posey, it made me think, oh, here we go. Okay, Buster Posey, a legend in San Francisco, one of my favorite players during his stretch. I'll argue him over Yadier Molina every single day. Oh, well, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? I will say, hell yes, every single day. But now we're seeing the thing where it's really hard to blame Buster because you like Buster Posey. And I'm not saying to blame him this season, but I'm already saying, oh, wait, it was all Buster's world when the Giants were winning. Same lineup, essentially, right? With a couple additions. Willie Adames is the big one. It was all Buster Posey. Now that the Giants are coming back to reality, the regression to the mean is happening. Well, Farhan did leave this mess. So this is what we're going to do now because you like Buster Posey. And I'm wondering with the Kings and why it's kind of tough to hire your heroes. If things go south for the Kings, and not even south, they just match what Vegas is saying. If they are sitting at 35 wins, if they are on track for 35 wins, how does that go for Doug Christie? This is what happens when you hire your heroes. So how does that go for Doug Christie when you love, how many calls have we had? Allen, I love having Doug here. He gets Sacramento. He gets this. He gets that. Will he get the Buster Posey treatment? Well, Allen, look at the roster, right? Because Mike Brown never put on the Kings jersey, so he didn't get the Buster Posey treatment. They wanted him at Brown out of town. All he did was take him to the playoffs. Now he's in New York. Good for him. So when you hire your heroes, this is where things can get a little awkward. And as a fan, how you separate, hey, I love Doug Christie, the player, but Doug Christie, the coach, it's been tough. Now, you look at the roster, and you can say, well, Doug won 36 games. He was only supposed to win 35. So when I'm watching everything that's going on with the Giants, it made me wonder, how is this going to go if the Kings are literally what they're supposed to be? That's not saying that Doug is going to do a bad job, but the Kings right now are supposed to miss the playoffs and win 35 games. So how do Kings fans react to that when it's one of your heroes from years ago? How do they react to that? 916-339-1140. Do you believe you'll be able to separate Doug the player from Doug the coach? When we return, apparently Summer League does matter for your stock. It did, or it does, for one of my top picks in last season's draft. How will it affect Devin Carter? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise Guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing and Air Conditioning. Is your AC on the fritz? Call Bell Brothers. Looking to replace your old unit with a 0% financing and no payments for 12 months on approved credit? Call Bell Brothers. We're fast, reliable, and respect your time by showing up when we say we will. The price we quote is the price you pay. We are the No Surprise Guys. Call today to get a free estimate on a new HVAC system, or simply schedule your $87 AC Precision tune-up to keep your system running smoothly. With more technicians, more trucks, and more experience, we get the job done right the first time. No surprises. Our technicians are all background checked, drug tested, and will leave the work area cleaner than they found it. Don't wait. Call Bell Brothers today or book online at nosurpriseguys.com. That's nosurpriseguys.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The ultimate off-road adventure awaits during Sky River Casino's $300,000 Blazing Bronco giveaway. Every Saturday, lucky guests will play for a chance to win free play, cash, or a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Badlands. Earn entries by playing your favorite slots and table games. Grab a free daily entry. Plus, get 100 bonus entries every Monday and Tuesday. Visit skyriver.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or over.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Get ready for Marvel's first family to hit the biggest screen in Sacramento. The Fantastic Four First Steps opens this week on the Esquire IMAX Theater, 6-story screen in downtown Sacramento.
Please welcome the Fantastic Four.
Set against a retro-futuristic backdrop, the Fantastic Four are faced with their most daunting challenge, defending Earth from a ravenous space god. Get your reserved seats today at IMAX.com/Sacramento.
I herald his beginning.
The best theater to experience the Fantastic Four First Steps is on the largest screen in Sacramento, the Esquire IMAX Theater.
The summer sell-down is on at Maida Chevy with $3,000 off MSRP on every new 2025 Trax in stock. $3,000 off Trax exclusively at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
On Sacktown Sports.
Talking about a lot here in the first segment or first hour of the show. And Eric Martins will join us to kick off the second hour of the show.
Maybe we should ask him about that question.
Third base coach for the Athletics. And he is from Southern California, so he's probably been to Disneyland a ton. I threw Disneyland in there, but the Disneyland part, as we were discussing, why is your baby in Vegas? And obviously, I'm just having some fun. If you really want to go to Vegas, and obviously you don't have babysitters, okay, go to Vegas. All right. I don't have any babysitters readily available. All right. You know, I'm not saying it as if I can just drop off my kiddo with my mom or dad or whoever. My wife's family is not even in California. So I'm not coming from a place of, oh, why don't you just do this? I can't do it either. I'm just saying Vegas is a little, it'd be a little wild. And maybe the argument is if they're under 3, they don't know what's happening anyway. Maybe a better argument is, well, when you have your 6 or 7-year-old and they know what's actually going on.
Between 3 and 8 is the danger zone.
Yes, that's actually, maybe I got it twisted.
But how is your experience going to be enhanced by having a child there? Like
I've never gone to Vegas as a kid, so I'm assuming there's a bunch of stuff to do.
I was more so making the point, like, okay, yes, the 2-year-old is not going to remember what happened,
right?
But you still have a 2-year-old.
It's not about advancing; it's about necessity, I guess. We want to go to Vegas, and there's nobody to leave the kid with, and that's your choice. I'm just curious. My whole thing is, yeah, I guess if you really don't have anybody to ever leave the kid with, you're not going to never go to Vegas again, I guess.
Or you wait until they're 10.
And then they really know what the spanking is.
Why are you so stuck on the spanking?
People keep asking me, Alan, how many times have you ended up in handcuffs in Vegas? Never. Someone says, Alan, not everyone goes to Vegas to get spanked. I'm not going to get spanked. I've never even been spanked in Vegas.
That can't be true.
I saw people get spanked.
I was like, given how much you're talking about this, there's just no way.
I'm watching people get spanked. That's all.
And so will the young children.
That's right. 209 says, I have one kid. He's literally the same age as your daughter. And I wouldn't take my kid to Vegas, but I have taken him to Disneyland when he was 1 year old. Still plenty of rights to get on with the baby. Hey, completely get it. There are also a lot of Disney adults. So if we're having this honest conversation, are you going to Disneyland for your 1-year-old? Are you going to Disneyland because you or your spouse is a Disney adult?
So wait, what's your problem with?
No, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying your kid's not going to remember it. So if you're going for you,
okay.
Cool. But let's not act like the kid is going to remember this when they're even 3 years old.
So you're saying wait, 3 years old, they might have a chance, but you're saying wait until the kids are 5
What do
or
you
6?
remember from 3 years old, Kyle?
You don't want to, you got to be careful asking me that. I've got some messed up stuff.
Okay. Well, we'll take that offline.
Gotta be careful with asking me that. Cause I don't want to make everyone listening uncomfortable.
We watched Baby Styles isn't feeling too well. So yesterday we fired up the original Little Mermaid for the first time. And I guess it translates. It was fine.
I went to Disneyland at 4. And do you remember that Space Mountain ride? I don't know if it's there anymore. Just traumatized from that.
That's the one.
My brother was 3 and he definitely remembers it. So to your point, 3-year-olds can remember being traumatized on Space Mountain.
Okay.
And never wanting to go back on it ever again.
There you go. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Louie, who wants to talk. Doug Christie, can you separate the player from the coach? What's up, Louie? What you got for us?
What's up, man? Hey, I think you should leave the kids at home, find a way so you can get that spanking that you want so bad after on Vegas. I think.
I'm not trying to get spanked, man. I'm not, if it happens, it happens. I'm not trying.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. It's all good, man. But I was going to say, I was calling in to say that, we got to be able to separate the love we have for Doug and hold him accountable just as we would for any other coach. But, like, for the folks that do want to hold him accountable, we also have to keep in mind, just like what you were saying, what the roster looks like. But more importantly, like, what does the progression look like? Are we seeing, signs of excellence, or maybe are we seeing a light at the end of the tunnel? But I'll give you an example. I'm a Raiders fan, man. So I went to high school with Colton Miller, the left tackle. So I'm at the point where, like, that's my dog. You know what I'm saying? That's my boy. We played basketball together. Like, that's my guy. But I'm kind of like, I kind of want a new left tackle. I'm not going to lie to you, Sal. Like, that's my guy. I went to high school with him. But I still, sometimes those third downs, he just can't block them when it's needed. So I hold him accountable to that standard. Like, I kind of want a new left tackle. And best believe I'm going to hold Doug accountable as well. But Rome was not built in a day. You just got to, feel it out and see what happens in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's a great call, Louie. It's a great call. And I think most people can separate. And a lot of fans were bringing up that, hey, we've already kind of been through this with Vlade. We were able to separate with Vlade, but not everybody is like that, right? 916 says, I respect fans who can compartmentalize Vlade the player from the GM, but I personally hate Vlade for what he did as GM. His legacy's ruined for me. Maybe it's got to be really bad, right? The Luka thing can overcome what happened as a player. That's probably not possible as a coach. It's probably not because there just won't be enough time, and there won't be an ability for Doug. If it gets bad enough, he'll just get fired, right? And based on how this organization operates, he's already coached a little bit more than half a year. So he gets 2 more years, let's say 2 duds. Doug coached for 2.5 years, and it just didn't work out. No harm, no foul. He didn't have a great roster, and he wasn't able to kind of overcome that. Still love Doug as a player. So maybe it's based on the position. So getting back to the Giants and Buster Posey, if Rafi Devers, who is in year 3 of a 10-year deal, if that's a complete nightmare, right, and Willie Adames has been playing well the last couple, or about basically the last month here, if those big moves that Buster made, and honestly, Buster's probably untouchable. That's 3 World Series. That's untouchable.
I mean, you say that, but Vlade has a jersey retired by the organization.
That ain't rings, though.
Well, I think the other difference, too, is just an easy word association, too, right? Like, if you say Vlade Divac, word association is Marvin Bagley, right? There's something you can directly point to and say, that is the thing that you messed up. I don't think you can do that as much as a coach. There's not really moments like that where a coach really gets absconded the way that a general manager does with a very specific transaction, right? Even Vlade Divac's playing career, what is the word association for that? Traded for Kobe Bryant.
And baseball is just different in that nobody's going to sit back, even if it happened, right? If Buster missed out on the next Shohei, but Buster had the 3rd pick and whoever, the Diamondbacks had the 4th pick, people aren't going to go back. Baseball is just a different beast. You got to go to the minors. It's just going to be looked at differently than how immediate the NBA is and how much of a large scale it is. So it's not the same, but I was just seeing how people immediately put Buster in a protective case and said, no. Now that the Giants are playing poorly, their worst stretch of the season, they lost 6 straight. Let's bring up Farhan. It's time to bring up Farhan because we're not going to talk bad about Buster. And I'm not saying that you should. It's just y'all were glazing Buster when they were the talk of the town and exceeding expectations. So that's my only problem with it. Let's just keep the same energy. And I think that GMs may be just a little bit different than coaches because at this point, people are not really sure how much a coach can or cannot help when it comes to these rosters and what you're able to work with. When we return, let's continue the baseball convo as Eric Martin's third base coach for the A's joins us. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Around here, the summer can smack you silly, especially if your AC is not functioning at a high level. Whitey Gleason here. I had the opposite problem over the winter. System went down. It was panic time. But Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating saved the day. Let them save you from unnecessary summer misery. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, reliable, trustworthy. They do great work. They won awards for their service. Check the reviews at leesair.com. Find out about their $99 HVAC tune-up service. Save your summer now. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating on the web at leesair.com. License number 635355.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Summer's flying by, and that back-to-school checklist, it's growing fast. New backpack? Check. School supplies? Check. Dentist appointment? Let's fix that. Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics is making it easy to cross dental checkups off your summer list fast, with priority scheduling for new patients and kid-friendly care that makes them smile. It's one less thing to worry about before fall. Call now or book online at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com, because healthy smiles should be the easiest thing to check off your summer list.
Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. I love spending a day on the golf course with invited friends, but not with uninvited mosquitoes, which can carry serious diseases like West Nile virus. Don't let mosquito bites ruin your round or your health. Stay safe while playing golf, hiking, or enjoying the outdoors with family. Defend yourself with insect repellent. For tips about your golf game, listen for Golf to Go. But for more tips on protecting yourself and your home from mosquitoes, visit fightthebite.net.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Get ready for a summer surprise. It's a holiday celebration at Christmas in July with the Sacramento River Cats. Friday, July 25th at Sutter Health Park is the perfect day to enjoy holiday cheer with your family and friends. Enjoy Christmas music, themed activities, and exciting River Cats baseball action all in one place. Don't miss out on this unique summer event. Get your baseball tickets for Christmas in July at rivercats.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
One hour down, 3 to go. Hour 2 is coming at you. And to kick off hour 2, as we always do, 11 o'clock, Eric Martins joins us, A's third base coach. Coach, I hope you enjoyed your time off. We are back at it. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. Just getting back into the swing of things.
So how does that work? It's a quick break, and I'm sure there are a ton of group chats. So are you guys talking throughout the coaching staff and maybe some of the players? Just is there any working on anything for some of the players during the break, or do they legitimately, hey, go fire up Netflix for 2-3 days and come back refreshed and reset and ready to go?
It's pretty much shut it down for a little bit. I mean, this is
Yeah.
the grind, unless the coaches and us as a staff need to talk about something or anything like that, we pretty much are ghosting each other for 3 days or 3.5 days. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We just want to kind of get away, reset, spend time with our friends, our family, do whatever we need to do to kind of get away and step away for a while and then come back refreshed. So here we are.
Yep. Talking to Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Coach, we've been talking so much about Jacob Wilson. Nick Kurtz, I think, felt some type of way, and it feels like he's hitting a home run every other game. Talk about that Rookie of the Year race and how Nick Kurtz, the amount of home runs that he's hitting is making it close. Has there been any playful trash talk between the two? Are they even discussing it, or is it just, hey, you do your thing, I'll do mine, let's both just have a great season?
Well, it's just pretty special just to have two players in consideration that are on the same team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drafted in back-to-back years. So, that's a testament to our scouting department and getting the right players in here. But as far as I'm concerned, between those two, I'm sure they're just going out there and playing. Jacob Wilson's one up them starting the All-Star game, so he's got that over his head right now. But I tell you what, man. I mean, it's special to see what Kurtz is doing. What Jacob has done all season is special, but what Nick's doing right now is unbelievable. I mean, he's finally settled in, which is scary. You know what I mean? He's settled in his first year in the big leagues, and
Right.
he's making a huge impact and impacting our lineup.
I was reading an article that said Nick Kurtz might be one of the best hitting first basemen in the next couple years, and maybe sooner than that. And we've talked about once scouting report comes out, how things change and how the hitting, you got to adjust to the adjustment. You've been around the game a long time. These top picks, they don't all work out, and maybe they don't all work out to any level or to some level. At what point do you see a top pick and you or your staff, whoever you're with together, say, yeah, we got one. We got one. And on the other side, when you have those guys and you say, okay, we took a swing on an upside and doesn't look like it's going to work. Because with Nick Kurtz, clearly you got one.
I mean, prematurely, yes, we're saying we got one right now. But what he's doing right now is special. And we just hope that nobody in the room messes him up and allows him to do whatever he needs to do. Just kidding when I said that. But no, seriously, I mean, what he's doing right now is special. Look, there's going to be some adjustments. Adjustments are going to be made on him, and he's going to have to adjust, just like Jacob Wilson's going through right now. But this kid's special, man. I mean, as far as preparation for a first-year player, he's as prepared as anybody in that clubhouse, knows what the pitcher's going to try to do to him, knows the tendencies and what this guy's going to do. So he's taking what he's doing right now to a different level. So it's fun to see him do that in preparation, and he's becoming a big leaguer in front of our eyes quickly. And so that's one of those things that you want to see is you see the talent, right? But there's a lot more than just going out there and playing the game on how to be a big leaguer and preparing day in, day out, and in that grind mentality of, preparing yourself to go out and play a Major League Baseball game every single day. It's not just going out there, putting your cleats on, batting gloves on, going up to the plate and just hoping that you're going to hit. You got to be prepared for what these guys are going to try to do to you, what their arsenal is, what they do in certain situations. So, I mean, what he's done in the last month and a half, 2 months is spectacular.
Yeah, and I saw him on Top Plays a couple days ago for that glove that he laid out and he passed it, or he threw it to the catcher with his glove. So let's not sleep on his defense either. He can do some things on both sides of the baseball. Coach, 1-3 since the All-Star break. What's the focus for the second half as we start to get underway and it's kind of more than the second half, but as we start to get underway for the last half of the season?
It's just continuing to try to play good baseball, right? Is just going out there and not making the mistakes that continuously happen. Whether it's cutoff and relays, playing good defense, executing pitches, executing at bats, putting together some at bats, and trying to work on those things. That's the focus for us right now. We know how talented we are. We talk about it all the time. Other teams talk about us all the time, but we can go out there on a certain day and look like we haven't prepared to play a baseball game, unfortunately. And it's just the youth of our team. So it's those things of, like I talked earlier about, consistently being a big leaguer and playing Major League Baseball and being in the right spots, executing situations, defensively, being in the right place for cuts and relays and throwing to the right bases and stuff like that. That you don't want to give teams extra bases. Contain the base that they're at, and that's it. And then from the next pitch, you can get a double play or something like that. But if we throw to the wrong base, or we overthrow the cutoff man, or we don't execute a bunt defense, we're giving extra outs, and that's something that we cannot do. And so that's the focus of our team, is just playing solid baseball, playing solid defense, throwing strikes and executing at bats.
Talking to Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Coach, Bob Nightingale reported that the A's won't be moving Mason Miller. They said, don't even bother calling. From your perspective, for some of the A's fans out there that might say, hey, well, we could get some pitching prospects and we already have some really good young hitters. Can you explain from your side? I know you're on the field, obviously, but from your side, why it makes sense for the A's to hold on to the elite closer?
Well, I think, like we talk about it all year, is that we're close. We're really close. And to have an elite closer like we do right now, and give them up for prospects, you're basically waving the white flag right now. And honestly, we're super close, and with our talent that we have to contend here really soon. And when you got somebody like Mason, who's under control for the next few years and being one of the best closers, if not the best closer in the league, it's hard to give up unless somebody is going to wow you. So that is out of my pay range of what's going to be offered, but I can see why we'd be skeptical to want to just move him just to move him.
Yeah. With that being said, and with the A's being close, if there was a type of player you feel like would be a good addition to the group if the A's were to be buyers in this situation, what do you think the A's kind of need right now?
I mean, you're always looking for depth on the mound, right? Whether it's relievers, whether it's starters, bringing in position players. I think we're pretty set offensively, but you can never turn down a bat. You know what I mean? And so just bringing in a veteran, maybe on the offensive side, to help these guys continue to learn and how to prepare as big leaguers. Obviously, you can always use pitching, you can always use relievers. So there's so much that you can always add to a team, even though you're already talented and not really stray away from wanting to acquire players. So it's one of those things where, what's the right fit for the group that we have right now? And that's more of makeup wise, personality wise, leadership wise. And I think those are the kind of players that we would like to bring in here to continue to teach our young group how to be Major League Baseball players.
Outside of the A's, Coach, what's a storyline? We just watched the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby. What's a storyline or a player that has kind of surprised or impressed you? It could be in the AL West or just in baseball in general this season.
Wow. I mean, I guess a lot of the talk is from the pitcher from the Brewers. I can't remember his name, Ms. something, him only having 5 games in the big leagues and getting to the All-Star game and throwing 104 and lighting up the radars. But he's pretty nasty. I remember seeing him in spring training going, wow, who is this? And then seeing how young he was and when he was drafted. So, I think that's one of the biggest storylines right now. It made a lot of waves. Some people were upset that he made the All-Star game. And it's just like, look, I mean, it's, each team gets a player or two, and I guess he was their guy. They had a couple other guys that could have made it too, but it's just crazy because Nick Kurtz is still in the headlines right now. I mean, honestly, and it's fun to see him on our team. And earlier in the year it was Jacob Wilson. During the year it's Denzel Clark making the list. So it's like you look around the league, Brent Rooker, what he did in the All-Star game. So there's a lot of A's players making a lot of waves, or making a lot of noise out there, and it's fun to hear. But we're starting to open eyes, continue to open eyes. I don't want to say start because everyone knows how talented we are, but seeing those guys getting some media attention has been good, and that just goes to show how close this team really is. We turn the corner and acquire some, whether we get some more pitching, we get another player in here. we make a run to end the season, and here we go next year with a little bit more momentum and the same group that we have right now.
Yeah, and you're about to, or you're in the midst of your kind of Texas run. You got the Rangers and the Astros, and it's interesting because the Rangers just won the World Series a couple years ago. You're thinking, okay, here goes Bruce Bochy again doing his thing. They haven't really been able to find their footing. The Seattle Mariners, a team there every year, hey, are they going to break the streak and get into the playoffs? And they got Cal Raleigh, and he's been a really good story, the big dumper out there in Seattle. Does that give the A's a little bit of hope? Because in both ways, this thing can shift immediately, where one season you might be out of it, but the next season you put one or two things together and you get a Nick Kurtz and a Jacob Wilson to kind of start to be the anchors of that lineup, and we could be cooking here in the next couple seasons, maybe even next season.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, our division is on alert with the team that we have right now. We've played the Rangers pretty good. Houston has always been tough for us, but we've played them pretty well the last few years. Seattle, I mean, has had our number, but this year we've had some really good series with them. So, we're on the rise, and we're definitely a team in the division that people know that we're on the up and up. So, these teams like Texas, you look at Texas, who just won the World Series a couple years ago, and they haven't really been able to put it together, unfortunately for them, especially with that payroll that they have and the players that they acquired. DeGrom's having another Cy Young type year, which is kind of scary, but they haven't been able to put the pieces together to have the year that they should be having. Seattle, like you said, they're always in that contention at some point, and then for one reason or not, things don't happen to fall their way. You know what I mean? And then the next thing you know, you look up and Houston's in the freaking ALCS again. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where they have the experience, they have the the whereabouts to just continue to maintain what they do, and it's up to us to go in and just ruin all that and break things up. You know what I mean? So we're close to doing that. The Angels are actually having a pretty decent year, so it's a very competitive division. We're a team that can make a lot of noise. We have a ton of division games coming up here. I mean, we got Texas, we got Houston, we got Seattle, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where we need to continue to put the pressure on them and let them know that, hey, we are right on your heels. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Coach, it's always fun when you join us on the show. Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Thank you so much. Good luck in Texas. Get some good brisket barbecue while you're out there, but more importantly, get some W's while you're out there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're looking for.
Thanks again to Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. And it really is all about Nick Kurtz right now. It really is. And it's exciting to see. He went to the rival high school of my wife out there in Pennsylvania. So a shout out to him. I might be getting a Nick Kurtz jersey pretty soon here. And you heard it here first. Bob Nightingale reporting that Mason Miller, don't even bother calling. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what the A's told people. And did the same thing last season. Kyle, you and I were talking about how he has been not as strong this season as last season. So maybe this is a good time to hold on to him just from a value perspective. But from the A's perspective, they're going to continue to tell their fans that we're holding on to him because we think, and it's not the reason you move on from him is because you need more pitching. That's what it is with the A's. They can hit. And next season, everybody's going to be a little bit older in a good way, right? Not AARP older, but starting to hit their prime older. So the bats aren't the issue. You need pitching, and that would be the argument to move on from Mason Miller. But then at that point, maybe you're looking for a closer. So I can understand why they're not moving him, but I also understand why fans feel as if, well, you're not going to get to use a closer if you're not in close games.
Yeah, and I think Eric kind of brought up the point of trading Mason would be waving the white flag. I would say not even for this year, but next year, because the players you're going to get. I know pitchers make more of an immediate impact, but even the guys you would theoretically get are not going to be major impact players right away.
No, they'd have to be from what? AAA or AA guys that are kind of right there because you wanted to align with your big leaguers. You're not going to go get somebody in high A right now.
Well, and they just have so many holes to fill in that rotation. And there's reports that they may be looking to deal some of their veteran starters who they got last year, like Springs and Lopez.
That. Yeah.
And if anyone will take Severino's contract.
I saw Springs connected to the Giants, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Springs is at, I think, like $10.5 million. And because Severino might be too difficult to move if they are shedding payroll, then that makes sense to move your second highest paid player other than like Rooker, which I don't know when his deal goes into effect. But, I kind of think with young pitching in the MLB, the only way to really get it nowadays is to draft it.
Yeah.
Because when people have that guy, they're just not letting it go. Whether it's Misarowski in Milwaukee or Skeens or, the Marlins have a couple of those guys now. Like, teams just aren't giving those guys up if they have them. So maybe their first round pick this year will be something, but that's only one spot to fill out of a rotation and bullpen that is really hurting.
Great stuff from Coach Eric Martins, as always, as we get back into a little bit of Kings talk. And it is time, Kyle. We need to get that drum. We need to get a drum roll drop.
Oh, would you say something maybe like this?
Okay, I like that. I feel like I'm back. I can't get away from Vegas today. About to run the sim lottery for the 2026 NBA draft. The Kings are in the 8th position. I am clicking it now, and the Kings are picking with the first pick in the NBA draft. The Washington Wizards select ... With the second pick in the NBA draft, the Brooklyn Nets are selecting ... With the third pick in the NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select the better boozer. Third today, baby. Third pick, the Cam Boozer.
Well, here's the thing. So we forgot to do it yesterday. So that one's for yesterday. For Monday, we got number 3. We got to run it again for today.
Let me reset it. Tuesday's lottery. The Sacramento Kings are selecting 9th. No. Is this from Mario Kart?
Well, this one's from Mario Kart. This one's from Pac-Man.
The Kings drop down one slot, and they are selecting 9th in today's NBA Draft Lottery Simulator. The Trailblazers are selecting 1. The Miami Heat jump up 8 spots to select 2. Brooklyn Nets are still at 3. The Wizards are at 4. Utah still doesn't get that pick. They drop down 4 spots to 5. Memphis 6, Charlotte 7, Chicago 8. They drop down 2, and the Kings drop down 1, 9. I don't like today. I like yesterday's better.
Yesterday's, that was also today. Number 3 pick. If it's still, what was it, a 6.5% chance at the number 1 pick and like a 25% chance in the top 4, it means once a week, maybe twice a week, we should get a top pick, We've already clocked it for Monday.
So we have kind of told you already about how things have moved as far as the win total for the Sacramento Kings. Again, I just cannot get off of the Vegas subject today. From VegasInsider.com, they break down, they give you 3 different options for NBA win totals. And I believe this is the most updated version of it. So you have the Rockets are at 55.5. You can find them as low as 55.5, as high as 58.5. I'm checking the Clippers. The Clippers are at 48.5. You can get them as low as that or as high as 49.5. Trying to remember what they were prior to the Bradley Beal and now Chris Paul signing. The Bucks are at 40. You can find them at 48.5 and as low as 43.5. That's a huge difference. Basically, I would stay away from the Bucks because they're not sure. You got the Celtics at 43.5, as high as 47.5, and the Sacramento Kings. You can get them as low. And shout out to DraftKings if you're trying to make some money and you believe in the Beam team. 34.5. Last week that was 36. 2 weeks ago, that was 38.
38.5, yeah.
So you can find the Kings as low as 34.5, and then Bet365 and MGM have them at 35.5.
So since you have the list there, where does that fall in the Western Conference? How many Western Conference teams are lower than the Sacramento Kings?
How many Western? Because it's a little tough. I'll just do it based on one, but because they're obviously different odds.
Yeah.
But the Blazers are at 33.5. They got the Spurs at 43.5, by the way.
That's interesting.
But they have the Blazers at 33.5, the Suns at 31.5, the Jazz at 18.5, and the Pelicans at 30.5. So that's 4.
So 11th place?
I'm just double checking, but the higher I climb, we're going the wrong way.
So it seems like right now
4 teams the Kings are better than. And this is according to Bet365.
Yeah, so they would have, what is that? Dallas jumping them, San Antonio jumping them, and that's how you end up in the 11 seed, which I guess is fair only because San Antonio is getting De'Aaron Fox and Wemby together for the first time, and Dallas was just like catastrophically unhealthy last season.
And I believe when we did the math, Tankathon being the 8th seed, that would be what? 12?
I think it was tied for 12 because they had them.
So
in the
we're right there. So you're getting Cam. You are getting Cam Boozer. We did it. We did it, everyone.
What did we do?
We finally did it. The only other team they could, so it was the Pelicans, the Blazers, the Suns, and the Jazz. Who could they possibly jump, you ask? There is nobody else in the 30s.
Really?
They have the Spurs at 43.5. Oh, they have the Mavericks at 40.5, the Grizzlies at 40.5.
So there's saying
nobody else in the 30s.
So they're saying to get to the play-in, you have to have an above 500 record.
Yeah.
Which technically was the case last year. I mean, the Kings went, 40-42?
Right.
But that's tough, saying you got to win 41 or 42 games just to get to the play-in this year.
Rough stuff, man. Rough stuff. But hey, what does Vegas know? They don't know jack. All right? And this is what Scott Perry believes. This is what some Kings fans out there believe. But even if they do know jack, at least it would put you in a position to draft someone that's going to continue to build that future. And if you're Scott Perry, if you're Scott Perry and the Kings end with 36 wins, 11 seed, they move on from whoever they need to move on from. Because at this point, you never know what's going to happen in the lottery. We just ran it twice, and the Kings were 3rd, then they were 9th. But if this thing goes south, and this is the issue with the Kuminga stuff, the closer the Kings get to seeing the lottery and feeling good about at least getting a top pick, unless they get unlucky like we did today, I don't need to deal with any Kuminga drama. You're old news, brother. You're old news to me. Yeah. Unless you really believe in him, you're old news, dog.
I think it depends how you get to 36, right? Because I think the conclusion would be you have to get younger. There's no point in winning 36 games and having one of the 12 oldest teams in the league.
Agreed. But I'd rather get a new piece of clay that I can mold. And not to say that you can't do both. If Kuminga's still available, I'm not saying don't go get him. If you want to do Malik Monk and whoever for Kuminga, cool. But I'm not reaching too deep into my pockets for Kuminga if we're on the way to blowing this thing up and we're looking at a Cam Boozer and adding on from there. So not to say that the Kings do have leverage, but the Warriors, the closer these teams get to seeing the future in that 2026 draft class, nobody is thinking about Jonathan Kuminga. Brett Siegel and Clutch Points reporting on Westbrook will tell you what's the newest and truest when it comes to the veteran point guard in Sacramento. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The Hagen Oaks Cutting Edge Putter Fitting Studio offers you more technology, more choices, and more service. Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. With $30,000 worth of state-of-the-art technology ready for your fitting, Hagen Oaks will help you make your best putting stroke while finding the best putter design, shape, hosel, length, and loft for your game. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for more.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hot Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
The latest from Brett Siegel, we're about to get to that, but obviously this is a sports show and we're going to talk about sports about 80 to 90% of the time, but did want to just give everyone some news. Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. This is being reported about 30 minutes ago. And yesterday, from The Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show, he passed away. So obviously, a lot of us grew up on these guys, and kind of sad stuff to start off the week with Monday and now Tuesday with both of them passing away. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. And yeah, man, sad stuff. As we get on into what Brett Siegel had to say as far as the Westbrook conversation in Siegel's Scoops, Sacramento Kings, this is the quote, Sacramento Kings, Russell Westbrook and Malcolm Brogdon are the two players who have come up the most in conversations about how the Sacramento Kings will fill out their roster this offseason. The word from NBA Summer League regarding the Kings is that they still want to add Westbrook even after their sign and trade to acquire Dennis Schroeder from the Pistons. So it sounds like Russell Westbrook, and we've discussed, hey, would it have happened already if it was going to happen? The conversation does start to get asked, well, what is the holdup? Is Russell Westbrook trying to see what else is out there? Because they said that you're not going to get 27 minutes a game, which is what he got in Denver. Are the Kings still trying to weigh things between Russell Westbrook and Malcolm Brogdon? Let's not forget there was an alleged Zoom call with Westbrook and Dennis Schroeder when everything kind of kicked off for free agency. So I'm not really sure. Then you have Doug McDermott. Clearly, they're not afraid to make moves as they bring back Doug McDermott, which the news broke during the show yesterday, and some people weren't super thrilled about that. Hey, what happens to Isaiah Crawford? What happens to some of these guys? I'd rather see them more than Doug McDermott. Is Doug McDermott a forward? Is Doug McDermott a guard? A lot of people are arguing that part of it as well. So the Kings are definitely have their hands in a lot of things right now. And the Russell Westbrook conversation is not going anywhere. It doesn't seem to go anywhere. Malcolm Brogdon is a name who's come up basically with it feels like any team besides the Thunder, Malcolm Brogdon has been brought up, right? If you are in any type of need of a point guard, and Malcolm Brogdon, by the way, 24 games last season, 12.7 points per game, 3.8 rebounds per game, 4.1 assists, 43.3% from the field, 28.6% from three, 88% from the free throw line. Now, he only played 24 games. He was bouncing around. He was injured. But I don't really know if they're both going to be on minimum contracts. If you're already making this decision to kind of go, quote unquote, all in with vets, just get Westbrook. I would take Westbrook over Brogdon just because at least recency bias, at least I just saw Westbrook. I saw Westbrook do some bad. I saw Westbrook do some good, but I just haven't even seen Brogdon ever since he won Rookie of the Year. Has he played basketball? Let's see. Since he won Rookie of the Year in 2023, he played 39 games in 2024 and then 24 games in 2025.
Are you talking about Sixth Man of the Year?
Yes, Sixth Man of the Year.
Because he also won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he won Rookie of the Year in 2017. Excuse me. Then in 2023, he was Sixth Man of the Year. He played 39 games, and then he played 24 games.
Man, this is just kind of a reminder. The Celtics nailed the timeline situation because Malcolm Brogdon. Remember, they added Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis after losing, I think it was Game 7 of the conference finals. The guys they got rid of, Malcolm Brogdon, haven't seen him play basketball since.
He's played 63 games since he won Sixth Man of the Year.
And Boston was one game from the finals. Marcus Smart, haven't seen him play basketball since leaving Boston. Grant Williams, feel like I haven't seen him play basketball since leaving Boston, other than that one terrible half season with the Mavericks.
And then they physically kicked him out of Dallas.
Oh, and then you know who the fourth one is? Time Lord Robert Williams, who I'm not sure has played a single game of basketball since leaving the Celtics.
Yeah, what's going on there? That's kind of what's going on in Boston.
Well, they broke all of their bodies and then shipped them out for Holiday and Porzingis.
But nobody knew.
Nobody knew. I think the other part of it too, and Grant Williams is where I fell victim to this, is that when you see guys in the playoffs year after year, because I think if I remember correctly, the Celtics went to the conference finals, then the NBA finals. I think there was a year gap in between, but they went conference finals, NBA finals in 2022, 7 games in the conference finals in 2023. When you see this group make deep playoff runs, you overvalue how good those players actually are, Obi Toppin, just because you see them playing for so long. I think even league executives make those mistakes.
Oh, they do all the time.
Like they thought Malcolm Brogdon was going to be amazing, and he hasn't played basketball since.
Yeah, it was weird to me even when they brought Brogdon in. He won Sixth Man of the Year, but I was under the impression that he was going to start because they brought him in because they had Marcus Smart, but they needed a real point guard. So haven't seen, he played 63 games since leaving Boston and winning Sixth Man of the Year. And just based on that alone, I would say just go get Westbrook. Now, everybody knows how I feel about Russell Westbrook. Is he going to buy in to a lesser role? Because there's no way he's playing 27 minutes a night in Sacramento. At least I don't see how he's playing 27 minutes a night in Sacramento. And this isn't source information, but this has to be part of the reason that there's a holdup. We've been hearing about this. Every day we hear about Al Horford about to be signed by the Warriors, and that's supposed to be even closer. And we also hear about Russell Westbrook and the Kings. So the only holdup I can think of is Russell Westbrook maybe hoping to find a bigger role somewhere else, and it just hasn't revealed itself. I don't think it's about money. I think it's about, hey, is there somebody out there where I can get 25 plus a night because I've had a good conversation with the Kings, but they told me, and in Russell Westbrook's mind, I know he thinks he's better than Dennis Schroeder right now. I know I don't need to be told that from Russell Westbrook. I just know it. So he's probably thinking, why are y'all giving Dennis Schroeder $15 million a year, which a lot of people are thinking that, not from adding Dennis Schroeder, but that type of money, that type of commitment. And now you're going to ask me to join and play 15 minutes a night. I don't love it, but I got to find something better. And I just think right now we're in the process of Russell Westbrook trying to find something better, and he doesn't think it's going to happen because we've heard these guys talk on podcasts before. Money matters. And if you bring in Russell Westbrook on a minimum contract and you're paying Dennis Schroeder $15 million, he would have to be wiping the floor with Dennis Schroeder to get more time than him. He would. And I don't think that that's a situation that would happen because I don't know that he would get that type of opportunity because the Kings are paying Dennis Schroeder $15 million. So that would be my guess as to the holdup here. Russell Westbrook had a great conversation with Scott Perry. They're on the same page, but they said, brother, we're looking at 15 minutes a night here just to keep it 1,000 with you, who, by the way, Chris Paul, there have been reports that Chris Paul might not even play some games with the Clippers, meaning he might not get off the bench, and he is okay. They've had that conversation. That's the reports that came out this morning. Essentially, he understands that there'll be some games where he gets to 25, 30 minutes maybe, but there will be games where Chris Paul just is not needed.
Yeah, he would rather be Udonis Haslem near his kids than going to play 30 minutes a night on some garbage team like the Hornets.
Right, or taking a chance on Chris Paul doesn't need just a random a random playoff run with the Bucks where, hey, we're the Bucks, so we're going to be the 4 seed in the East, but we're not beating the upper echelon of the East. He doesn't need that. And
he might not even start on that team.
No, he might not. So that's the newest on Russell Westbrook. That's my take on it. I just think that there's probably a playing time conversation or a playing time holdup. Russell Westbrook goes to his agent, goes to his camp and says, let's try to find somewhere else. Okay, we know Sacramento wants me. Let's try to find somewhere else where I'll have a bigger, number one, a bigger role, but number two, he wants to play winning basketball. Right. And Russell Westbrook is to the point where this is what we discussed yesterday. Is he better than somebody, maybe not LaMelo proper, but they could probably start together. But if you're the Hornets, yeah, we'd rather just start one of our young guys. If you are one of these bad teams, I'm not just going to he's at that age now where I'm not going to give Russell Westbrook minutes because that doesn't help anything. Is he better than players on our the Wizards, right? He could run that back. Is he better than somebody we're starting? Probably, but that doesn't help us achieve anything.
Yeah, the perfect situation is what we're talking about in Sacramento, which is a team that does not have a point guard that is still trying to compete. Mm-hmm. And it feels like that ship maybe has sailed only because of the large financial commitment Sacramento made to Dennis Schroeder.
On the other side, the best remaining free agents, according to our guy, Keith Smith. Are you interested in anyone? Let's talk about it. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia. Puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text Injury Help to 40222. That's Injury Help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. I love spending a day on the golf course with invited friends, but not with uninvited mosquitoes, which can carry serious diseases like West Nile virus. Don't let mosquito bites ruin your round or your health. Stay safe while playing golf, hiking, or enjoying the outdoors with family. Defend yourself with insect repellent. For tips about your golf game, listen for Golf to Go. But for more tips on protecting yourself and your home from mosquitoes, visit fightthebite.net.
The summer sell down is on at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $4,250 off MSRP. Every new 2025 Colorado, C71, CR2, and Trail Boss in stock. And Maida Chevy saves you $3,000 off MSRP. Every new 2025 Trax in stock. $4,250 off new Colorado. $3,000 off Trax. Exclusively at the Maida Chevy Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with other offers. Celebrate Christmas in July with the Sacramento Rivercats on Friday, July 25th at Sutter Health Park. Enjoy holiday-themed fun, exciting baseball, and special giveaways. It's a summer celebration with a festive twist. Get your tickets now at rivercats.com.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sactown Sports.
This guy kind of fits a model that the Kings need, but he is a little bit smaller. Not going to the Kings, though, but I found it interesting. Free agent forward Josh Okogie has agreed to a 1-year, $3.1 million deal with the Houston Rockets, sources tell ESPN. Okogie enters his 8th NBA season and gives the Rockets another active wing defender who has averaged 6.3 points over 416 games. Could have left that last line out there.
Yeah,
he's a defense first guy. How is this a ring chasing thing by Josh Okogie? I think he had more of a market, right? Am I tripping?
I mean, Houston's a good team to join. I gotta be real. The only thing I've known about Josh Okogie in the last 4 years is that clip of him on Jeff Teague's podcast when he was talking about when he was a rookie in Minnesota, and Jeff Teague wanted him as a rookie, tasked to buy him a new Xbox when they were on a road trip, and then he bought him a used Xbox, and then Jeff Teague made fun of him on the team bus.
Ridiculous.
It's literally the only thing I know about Josh Okogie since leaving Minnesota.
Yeah, he's bounced. He's been a name that when the Kings were just saying we need a wing, any wing. I liken him. These are the names that always get brought up. That got brought up before the Kings made the big De'Aaron Fox move. It was Josh Okogie, it was Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Those are the types of dudes that we kept hearing about, and they never got any of them. And the reality is the Rockets are rocking and rolling right now. Najee Marshall is a name. Those three are all the same person to me. They're all the same person. And the Kings, when they still had De'Aaron Fox and they were in need of a wing, it was just get one of those three. Get Najee Marshall. Go get Dorian Finney-Smith. Go get Josh Okogie, and the Kings got none of that.
The other one was Matisse Thybulle.
Go get Matisse Thybulle.
It was always one of those guys. Yeah, I think the last time I watched Josh Okogie play basketball was that playoff series when Devin Booker had a 50-point game against the Nuggets, and this was when Kevin Durant first got there. Not gonna lie, I don't think he played much last year for the Suns, and then he got traded to the Hornets, and God knows I wasn't watching Hornets.
But he's the same guy that when he gets traded somewhere, everyone says, "Yo, they got Josh Okogie. Yo, he can do some things."
You joke about that, but I hang out here and do work afterwards. I heard Draper literally say that verbatim.
I'm not joking. That's what every time Josh Okogie, look it up right now. Josh Okogie signs with the Rockets, and I'm doing it. Yay, the Rockets, they added some depth, man. Josh Okogie can do some things.
I just don't think even the Rockets don't think he's going to do things. See, this is a Doug McDermott stay in the league kind of contract at this point.
I don't know if it's that though. I think I feel as if Okogie could have gotten more money on a maybe a Sacramento Kings. Now he does. It's funny how we use the word, the whole wing thing again, because he only goes 6'4", right? So he's not a 6'8".
Monty McNair is so upset.
I know. Come on home to the Clippers. He probably was choosing between the Clippers and the Rockets for that minimum contract. 40 games, 7.1 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, 0.8 assists, 44% from the field, 34% from three. He does shoot it at 29 for his career, so he had a great season from three-point range. He's kind of maybe making that change or making that transition. Okay, I got to get good at this three-point.
He's also gotten better. If you look year to year on Minnesota, he was awful from three, but then with the Suns, it's 33%, 31%, 38% with the Suns, and then 32% with the Hornets. I don't know why we're spending so much time on Josh Okogie. I'm just learning all these things now.
Hey, look at the Rockets, man. The Rockets got both of them. They got Dorian Finney-Smith and Josh Okogie.
Yeah.
All they need is Najee Marshall.
And Matisse Thybulle.
Somebody also brought up Amir Coffey, and that is the Thanos 5 rings of wings that are not maybe as good as everyone likes to say, but when they're on the other team, you're upset about it.
The other one that might be too good for this conversation, but I always think of too, is Royce O'Neal.
Yes. Sorry, Amir Coffey, you're gone. Royce O'Neal, you're in.
Royce O'Neal.
Okay. Royce O'Neal. Matisse Thybulle, Josh Okogie, who was it?
Najee
Marshall.
So wait,
and Dorian Finney-Smith.
Those are the five.
Those are the five horsemen of wing defenders that the Kings should have gotten while De'Aaron Fox was there, but did not get.
This is the TJ Warren Memorial Five Horsemen.
And they all would have played way more than the teams that they ended up on. But hey, you got to move forward. 916 says, be honest. This is just a straight up question. And I'm always honest on this show. 916. Are we right now, as we stand, better, worse, or the same as last season? Better, worse, or the same? They're better. I mean, that's a simple question. They're better.
I would say which part of last season, because there were three different versions of the team last
post
year.
De'Aaron Fox.
Okay, post De'Aaron Fox team, yes. I'd say they're better right now.
They're better. Now, a D is better than an F, but you're not going to Stanford.
What did we I have it in our rundown here somewhere. What did we give the grade for the season? I think it was like a C and a C. I think we were both at like passable. So
yeah, they're better.
We're at a C+ now.
Yeah, they're better.
Also, if they're healthier, you like the chances of full training camp.
Right.
You know, there's things that could also break in their favor.
You go to your advisor, your academic advisor, and you tell them, hey, I want to go to Stanford. Hey, I want to go to Cal. Hey, I want to go to USC, like Carmichael Dave's daughter. And you have a 2.0, right? They're going to say, well, you need a better GPA. So quarter goes by, semester goes by, you walk in, hey, I have a 2.5 now. That's great. It's better. You're still not getting into Stanford, Cal, or USC. So they're better, but I don't know what to do with that.
That's funny. What you're describing is literally the plot of Rudy. Like the first 40 minutes of Rudy is exactly that.
They're better, but I don't know who feels better. They can be better, but you don't feel better about it.
I mean, let's just frame it this way. So they've subtracted Jake LaRavia, Trey Lyles, and Jonas Valanciunas, and they've added Dennis Schroeder, Neat Clifford, Dario Saric, Maxime Reynaud, and
Drew Eubanks.
And Drew Eubanks, I was going to say. And they brought back Doug McDermott. So there's no way you can say they're not better. All they've done is add a point guard. And quite frankly, Jake LaRavia and Jonas Valanciunas played 47 games with the Kings. I don't really know how big of losses those truly were to this team.
They keep adding players, and their win total keeps getting worse. Every time they actually make the team better, they lose a win.
Add Doug McDermott. Oh,
yeah. Now they've dropped down. All they got to do, they're going to get Russell Westbrook, and they're going to be at 30 next week. That's what's going to happen.
How low can it go? Can it go to the floor? I don't know.
Okay.
Well, they've dropped since the last round table, because I distinctly remember you and Chris Watkins, or maybe it was the one day Chris was only in here. Mm-hmm. You guys were specifically talking about 38.5, and now it's down to 34.5, and that was not even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So another wing is off the board, but it doesn't seem like the Kings are looking for wings. They're looking for a backup point guard, and it's my estimation that this conversation is being held up because of a playing time. That's what I think it is. Some of the other free agents, you got Josh Giddey. Obviously, he's restricted. We talked about Brogdon, Westbrook, and Simmons. Campaign is trying to get somebody to pick up the phone somewhere. Somebody said Amir Coffey, Torrey Craig, who is no longer with Meg Thee Stallion because she's with Klay Thompson. Kessler Edwards is a name. Imani Bates. We got some other names to read off as well. And as we hit the 12 o'clock hour, one of the crazier trades I've seen, a crazy proposed trade where, that guy on the Kings heads to that city. We'll tell you what it is as we hit the 12 o'clock hour. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger, Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents it's local, but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
And we're back, live during a Flex Alert. Dialed in on the thermostat. Oh, we're pre-cooling before 4 p.m., folks.
And that's the end of the third. Time to set it back to 78 from 4 to 9 p.m. Clutch move by the home team. What's the game plan from here on out?
Laundry?
Not today.
Dishwasher?
Sidelined.
What a performance by Team California. The power truly is ours.
During a Flex Alert, pre-cool, power down, and let's beat the heat together.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop. Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Summer's flying by, and that back-to-school checklist, it's growing fast. New backpack? Check. School supplies? Check. Dentist appointment? Let's fix that. Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics is making it easy to cross dental checkups off your summer list fast with priority scheduling for new patients and kid-friendly care that makes them smile. It's one less thing to worry about before fall. Call now or book online at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com, because healthy smiles should be the easiest thing to check off your summer list.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. You're home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
12 o'clock hour. We are 1 hour away from tickets to see the Lumineers. That's coming up at 1 o'clock. Kyle will pick the lucky number today. You will have chances all week long. Hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 1 p.m. for those tickets, 916-339-1140, as we approach the 12 o'clock hour and we approach an insane Domantas Sabonis trade. Or maybe it isn't as insane as one would think. Let's hear. This is from Connor Toms of Bleacher Report. He came up with 5 wild trades, okay? And this is the trade he came up with that includes Domantas Sabonis and the Boston Celtics. Here it is.
Let's talk about my final trade idea. And this is the Celtics getting a center going forward, and that is Domantas Sabonis. There have been reports that the Kings could shake up their big three, quote unquote, of DeRozan and Levine and Sabonis, which isn't very good. It's not really a big three, I wouldn't say. But they're 3 very talented players. I just don't think the fit is good at all with them. And Sabonis going over to the Boston Celtics, he's not really the shooting type of big that Joe Mazzulla likes, but I think he'd work really well as this playmaking hub type of big, someone to really orchestrate the offense alongside Derek White and Jaylen Brown and Tatum when he comes back. This lineup, of course, is for right now, without Jason Tatum playing, when Tatum returns, it would be Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Domantas Sabonis, because I do have Simons going in this deal to go ahead and make the money work, and maybe you find a different guard instead of Pritchard to switch things up going into next season. But I think his offensive punch could be nice there. Sabonis, again, not really a rim protector, so maybe you worry about the defense a little bit. But I think Tatum, Brown, Derek White, if you have a good defensive big off the bench, can be more than enough. And this trade is Anthony Simons, Sam Hauser, Niang Keita, and a couple first-round picks. Simons is expiring, and I don't think he's in the long-term plans anyways. Hauser does hurt to lose him as a shooter, making only $10 million, but I think he's replaceable if you're the Celtics. Niang, again, he's expiring. I don't think he's really good. I believe he's expiring. But either way, he's not going to really do much for you beyond this season. Keita could be a solid big for the Celtics, but he just kind of goes to the Kings to give them somebody, and 2 first-round picks. I'd probably have one of those slightly protected in the future, and if I'm Boston, I'm not really worried about being bad at some point. And you make yourself a really, really good team. Like Sabonis comes in, and he stays here till after Jason Tatum returns next year. You have Sabonis, you've got Tatum, you've got Brown, you've got Pritchard, you've got Derek White. That is a ridiculously talented starting 5.
That was Connor Toms of Bleacher Report. He had 5 wild, as he called it, trades, and that was his last one from the kind of stream that he did, Domantas Sabonis. So, Domantas Sabonis to the Celtics for Anthony Simons, Sam Hauser, Georges Niang, the return of Neemias Queta, and 2 first-round picks. Kyle, let's start with you. If you did it tomorrow, right, that would, obviously Anthony Simons is expiring. You would have to extend him to make this worth anybody's while, I think, or maybe not, just to keep the flexibility, the cap flexibility. I like Sam Hauser. I like Niang. The return of Keita, 2 first-round picks, albeit Celtics first-round picks, which probably aren't going to be great. Kyle, would you do this deal?
So let's examine just the thought process behind it, right? I think the players are less relevant because unless you're getting a young player with upside, which I'm not seeing in this deal. Like, Keita might have some upside, but I'm not seeing the guy who's like their version of Lou Dort in the trade, right? Like, I'm just not seeing that kind of return. Then the bulk of what the Kings should get back for Sabonis is future draft picks. And looking at what Boston has here, they've got their 2026 first, which could be a lottery pick if the Celtics miss the playoffs next year, if Jaylen Brown doesn't come back from a knee injury. You've got 2026 first. You've got a 2027 first, which they can't trade because of a swap. They have to swap with the Spurs in 2028.
And you can't do consecutive anyway.
Yeah. So you can't get you get one or the other. You get 26 or 27.
Obviously, you're taking 26.
Yeah. Then you would have 2030, 2031, or 2032, which maybe you say the 2030 Celtics pick is actually going to be worth something.
Yeah.
But as long as they still have Tatum and Brown, I think they're going to be at least a decent team 4 years from now. So I guess I look at it and say the Kings aren't getting a young player with promise. Like when they're ready to compete. I'm not saying like right away. Anthony Simons is good now, but they're not getting a young player with promise. They're not getting a premium draft pick. So I guess we're out on trading Domantas Sabonis for this package specifically, right? Because even though I'm of the opinion you don't trade Domantas Sabonis unless Domantas Sabonis says, I don't want to play for you anymore, their hand might get forced next summer where they have to consider a trade like this or a trade like what Brooklyn would theoretically offer of draft picks and maybe a young player or two.
Yeah, I'm just looking here, and obviously when you are the Celtics, you don't have a lot of young talent to speak on. I know one of their draft picks played pretty well in summer league, but I would say, to Connor's point, and I would kind of dispute his point, there's no way you're getting protections on either of those picks, right? He said maybe some slight protections on one. You can't. I need 2026 because I need the season where Jason Tatum is not playing. And then besides that, yeah, I'll take 2031 where this is Jason Tatum in year 4 or 5 coming off the Achilles, and by that time Jaylen Brown might be gone. Give me 2026, 2031, no protections at all.
Well, I think to that point also, why I wouldn't do the deal now is I want to know exactly where that pick is going to be, right? When Utah traded Rudy Gobert to Minnesota, they got a bunch of future draft picks in return, and those were great. But you know what else they got? The 17th pick in that draft. Like, they knew exactly where that pick was. Right. They got it, and they turned it into Walker Kessler, which honestly, like, Walker Kessler has had a weird start to his career, but he's made the loss of Rudy Gobert seem less painful because they knew they had the 17 pick. They knew they were going to get Walker Kessler, and Walker Kessler has slid into the Rudy Gobert role serviceably in Utah. So where it's tough is, like, I don't want to bet on how good the Celtics are or aren't going to be next year. I want to know right then what pick I'm going to get. Right?
Yeah, and that kind of comes down to, that might still make sense because by the end of this, you're not necessarily doing the deal now. You could see in this world, you could see what happens. And if the Celtics don't make the playoffs this upcoming season because they don't have Jason Tatum, or they make a certain decision where they move on. I know they want a lot for Derek White. I think they're kind of tripping, but I think they more so value Derek White versus what they want back for him, if that makes sense. They really want to hold on to him, so they're just saying, oh, that's not enough. They are getting offers that I believe are value-wise technically enough for Derek White, but they just don't want to get rid of him, and they don't want to call him untouchable. With Jaylen Brown, I think they want to see what happens with Jaylen Brown. Hey, are we paying this guy $60 million a year for no reason? So I would say I think about the deal. My biggest problem is another shooting guard in Anthony Simons. Now, of course, as we've discussed before, you do a deal like this, and you're kickstarting the reset, right? You do this deal, and then DeMar DeRozan is going to make his way somewhere. You go get somebody that makes sense to the rest of the team because, okay, now you're moving off of one of the, I know DeMar's played forward a little bit, but you're moving off of one of those shooting guards. Zach LaVine, they're kind of redundant. Anthony Simons is Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine is going to be gone at some point because you're extending Anthony Simons, in my opinion. If you're doing this deal, you're moving up from Zach LaVine, so you got Anthony Simons who can score the rock. You got Keegan Murray. You have to move on from Malik. I would argue the same conversation. Keon and Devin, one of them got to go. So it's just a matter of roster construction. You send Devin off with somebody, maybe it helps you get something back that's worthwhile for DeMar DeRozan.
Well, don't forget also you're locked into Sam Hauser now,
which I like that. I like Sam Hauser because you just signed Dougie McBuckets. Clearly, you feel like you need a level of shooting. So I wouldn't mind that. I'm not running to do this deal, but it would at least force a hand. To your point, I'd like to know what the pick is going to be. If this pick is 21, right, in 2026, and I know it's a deep draft class, but that's still the 21st pick.
That's the bad Boozer twin.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's the 21st pick. Anthony Simons, who you can make a decision. Do you just let him get off the books? Then you're damn near calling Domantas Sabonis that deal a dump, a salary dump with some kind of low-level picks because it's the Sixers. You have to extend Anthony Simons as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't do the deal now. I would say if the Celtics are messing around and if it's anything right at 14, I would think about it. If you're picking in the 20s, I'm not doing it. Or you need to give me more. And you don't have young talent, so maybe we're talking a couple seconds or something. But with that being said, as Connor explained it, I'm tempted because it would start the reset, but I'm probably not doing this deal.
Well, and this is the part that I was talking about at the beginning, is you either need to get a young player with promise right now, like that.
Which the Celtics don't have.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're going to trade Sabonis as a concept, you have to get either a young player ready to go now, for example, Phoenix Suns. If you're going to trade Kevin Durant, get a 23-year-old who is averaging 24 points per game the back end of the season. Who knows what Jalen Green will become? You have to get that player. You have to get a young player with promise. This is why they were trying to get Stephon Castle in the Fox trade, or you have to get a bunch of future picks that you can turn into something else later.
I know he's not young, but just because the first rounders for the Celtics aren't going to hit the same way, I probably need Peyton Pritchard, to be honest. I probably need that. He's 27.
But this is also what's tough is, like, for the 27, Hauser, I think, is 25 or something like that.
No, he's 27 too.
Yeah, he's 27. How are these guys? I guess the question is, are these guys going to even be on the team when you're trying to compete?
This probably turns into another flip, right? This probably turns into you move Domantas Sabonis, you get pieces that other teams really want, and then from there you're able. And what the heck is Peyton Pritchard's value not on the Celtics? If he has that 1 year in Sacramento with no protection from being on the Celtics, does he lose value? Does Sam Hauser lose value? Assuming they don't. Is he worth a first rounder? I don't know.
Let me phrase the question to you this way right now. If you had to pick today, would you rather have Peyton Pritchard with the uncertainty of what he looks like on the Celtics, where he's never started a game in his career, or Dennis Schroeder?
I would probably take Peyton Pritchard, I think.
And I think the debate kind of weighs the point, right? We don't think Schroeder's going to be on the team in 2 years.
Yeah.
Why would we think Peyton Pritchard is going to also be this long-term plan at the point guard option? Which, to the point about making the trade for the pick now, if the Celtics aren't going to have valuable picks, I'm just going to run the tankathon real quick just to set ourselves up, just to give us a gauge. Some of the other teams that the Jerry Bovadas and the whatever else have connected to Sabonis, right? Brooklyn would have a lottery pick. Portland would have a lottery pick. Toronto would have the 11th pick in the draft. And that's before you get to Boston at 17 right now, which is what Tankathon says. So, right, if you know where the picks are going to be, you establish what that value is, so then you can trade a valuable piece like Domantas Sabonis for one of those picks and more. It's exactly what Phoenix did with Kevin Durant, which is, we knew where the 10 pick was. We got the 10 pick this year instead of guessing on how good or bad we or the Rockets were going to be down the road. Just give us the 10 pick right now and Jalen Green, and we'll figure out the rest.
Yeah, and the difference is, obviously, Kevin Durant is 36, 37, 1 year left, and I don't think he signed the extension left yet, but he's going to, or at least that was discussed in where he wanted to go. So who has more value, Kevin Durant right now or Domantas Sabonis? It's a bit confusing, but long story short, I think it's a good effort by Connor Toms of Bleacher Report, but I'm not doing that deal. I don't think it's worth doing the deal. I think if you're going, and we've had conversations about me maybe overvaluing Domantas Sabonis, but it's more so about when you have an obvious premier piece or the highlighted piece in a deal, that highlighted piece being Anthony Simons on a expiring contract or 2 first-rounders where Connor wants to protect or slightly protect one of them, and they're already the Celtics first-rounders, not even a team that is going to be in the lottery, or we don't think that team's going to be in the lottery. I'm not opposed to moving Domantas Sabonis, but this isn't a deal I'm going to do. Because you know what this deal says to me? This deal doesn't even, based on what, Niang's got to be 30 or close to it.
And an expiring deal.
Hauser's 27. Simons is 25, 26. Keita is 26. 2 low-level first-round picks. That just screams we're not saying uncle. That doesn't even scream we are saying uncle, because you would basically be salary dumping Domantas Sabonis. So I don't obviously you get those first rounders. So I don't see why, if the Kings were to move on from him, the Celtics is just not, unfortunately, the Celtics don't have anything that I think would intrigue the Sacramento Kings, not to mention Scott Perry and the type that he is starting to show us that he likes. I don't think that in this deal, if we look at who's the type of player that Scott Perry likes, and I know things have to fit, I don't think Anthony Simons is the type of player that Scott Perry's looking for. I think that, you got to stretch the floor with Sam Hauser, but okay, so you're stretching the floor with Sam Hauser and Niang. They're not redundant per se, but they're both kind of going to shoot the 3 ball and do that. I think he would like the Mias Keita, but again, 2 first-rounders from the Celtics. Even from a Scott Perry culture-building perspective, I don't know that these are guys that Scott Perry would wake up in the morning and say, we're definitely – so you're not hitting reset because they're all over 25. And on top of that, they're not even the types of players that I think Scott Perry would sit there and say, oh, yeah, we definitely need a grinder or whoever like this. I think they're good players, but they're not forcing you to do anything. I don't even know how wild the trade is, based on what Connor is saying. I just don't think it's a deal that the Kings would feel like doing.
Well, I don't think they should feel like doing. Because again, the underlying point for me for all of this is you don't trade Domantas Sabonis unless Domantas Sabonis asks out. So maybe if Domantas Sabonis has asked out, maybe this deal makes a little bit more sense. But to that point, the Boston Celtics only piece that could be worth something of value compared to the rest of the league, like if Sabonis were available in the open market to whoever the highest bidder was, it would just be that pick this year. Like the idea that first round pick could end up in the lottery because Jason Tatum's not going to play and Jaylen Brown has knee surgery. And as of right now, their starting lineup is like Baylor Shireman, Georges Niang, and Nimi Keita or Luka Garza or something. The hope that pick could be in the lottery is the only thing that you're holding on to. And that's just not good enough to trade. At this point, the only piece you have left to jumpstart a true rebuild, right? Because when they traded De'Aaron Fox, they got neither a young player with promise nor a bunch of future draft picks to work with. And they got a couple, but they didn't get the haul that a player of De'Aaron Fox's caliber at the age that he is would have commanded if they had held out.
You have to decide what it is you want out of a situation. And you're a couple people in text line talking about Kyle bringing up once a player asks out and the the value changes a little bit. I think we could just go back to Kevin Durant as an example. And I know he's Kevin Durant, and he's Kevin Durant at 36, 37, making $50 million, and he's probably going to sign an extension with the Rockets. But I think the Rockets still got a decent haul. It wasn't, and people are referencing De'Aaron Fox and how, hey, well, they waited for De'Aaron to ask out and it tanked his value. I don't think De'Aaron asking out tanked his value. I think De'Aaron saying, I only want to go to the Spurs, and the Kings bending the knee to that was the reason. And on top of that, the Kings deciding we don't want to say uncle because we don't want to look like we lost a trade, so we're going to go and get Zach LaVine instead of getting young players or picks. So I don't know if De'Aaron, and this is Scott Perry now handling it, and not Monty McNair / Vivek, because we know that Vivek was involved to some degree. That's what The Athletic has reported. So I don't know that we can sit here and say, as soon as a player asks out, the value is just going to completely tank. I don't think that's always the case. In De'Aaron's case, with the Kings being hasty, bending the knee to De'Aaron, who said, I only want to go to the Spurs, and the Kings deciding to not wait it out, that was the issue. Players ask out all the time. So I don't fully agree with Kyle that you should wait for him to ask out, but I also don't think we should get too caught up with the De'Aaron situation, because not only did he ask out, he said he only wants to go to one team, and they still didn't have to deal him, but they did. So I don't know that we should be using the De'Aaron situation as an example. If Domantas Sabonis does, in fact, ask out within the next couple years, we have more examples of teams still getting decent hauls than the De'Aaron example. And again, the De'Aaron example, the conversation of the quote-unquote haul really goes back to what the Kings were trying to do. When we talk about what was being discussed at Summer League, it's not so much the Kings found themselves in a bad situation and dealt De'Aaron Fox. That's some of it. It's also, okay, so the Kings are deciding to move De'Aaron and not even go with a future-focused package and go with a Zach LaVine because they want to attempt to keep this thing going. So I would not sit here and say, didn't you just see what happened with De'Aaron Fox? If Scott Perry has autonomy and has the ability to make moves in the way that he wants to make them, I don't think that we should all be afraid of waiting it out for Domantas Sabonis to say, yeah, I think I want to get out of here. I don't know that it would tank his value. It would maybe take a hit, but it's when you get into a very specific, the blackmail conversation from Peja Stojakovic, when De'Aaron said, I only want to go to one team, and the Kings saying, for whatever reason, okay, well, let's just do it now versus let's see what happens at the end of the season. And then on top of that, we don't want to force your hand and go get some young talent. We want to go get Zach LaVine and pay him $50 million so we can attempt to convince our fans that we're still competing for something. So I don't know that everyone should be as afraid of, oh, well, what if Domantas Sabonis asks out? I don't think it's great, and I do think that they should be looking to move him prior, or taking calls at least prior to that. But if he does, a lot of things went wrong in the De'Aaron Fox deal. A lot of things went wrong in the De'Aaron Fox deal.
Yeah, the underlying problem was just not that he asked out. It was them choosing to make the deal that they did. That was what kind of set him back, because case in point, I keep bringing up, Suns were working with Kevin Durant based on teams he specifically outlined with the threat of free agency coming up to make a trade, and they still got more for Kevin Durant than the Sacramento Kings did for De'Aaron Fox. And part of that is just the Zach LaVine contract is bad. If LaVine is awesome this year, it'll look a lot better. But the Phoenix, working with Kevin Durant with 1 year left on his contract, still got more for him than the Kings got for a 26-year-old De'Aaron Fox.
Apparently, Summer League does matter when it comes to the stock of young players. One guy I really wanted on the Kings took a big hit. But what happened to Devin Carter's stock? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. Try the TrackMan experience, the very best technology to fit your metalwoods and irons. The new cutting-edge putter fitting studio with its $30,000 worth of technology is ready for your fitting. Hagen Oaks will help you find the best putter for your game. Hagen Oaks offers more technology, more choices, and more service. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531, 808-2531 for more.
Are you thinking about buying a new car? Well, maybe you're on the fence. Let me help you out. Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the first time I stepped into the MP of Stockton showroom, I knew I made the right choice. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV. It's comfortable, stylish, and most importantly, it's safe. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. It's just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at mpofstockton.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Averyana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hop Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
The Stockton Chiladas are back, and Verizon has everything your family needs to enjoy it. Verizon's customers are passionate about baseball. That's why they need fast, reliable connections to their family's entertainment needs. Switch to Verizon 5G home internet today with plans starting as low as $35 per month. Guaranteed for at least 3 years with no surprise price hikes. With autopay and any Verizon mobile phone plan. Visit your local Verizon store. Learn more at verizon.com/5G home or call 800-VERIZON.
Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. I love spending a day on the golf course with invited friends, but not with uninvited mosquitoes, which can carry serious diseases like West Nile virus. Don't let mosquito bites ruin your round or your health. Stay safe while playing golf, hiking, or enjoying the outdoors with family. Defend yourself with insect repellent. For tips about your golf game, listen for Golf to Go. But for more tips on protecting yourself and your home from mosquitoes, visit fightthebite.net.
Looking for the perfect night out? Head to Sutter Health Park and experience Sacramento River Cats baseball. Catch the action, enjoy local craft brews, and savor those ballpark vibes all season long. Grab your crew and secure your seats at rivercats.com.
Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. We are 30 minutes away from Lumineers tickets. The Lumineers will be playing at Golden One Center on August 6th. And Kyle will pick that lucky number in 30 minutes. If you are on the app, I want to switch on over to YouTube, to the radio, the old school radio. if you want a chance to win those tickets. So, obviously, we've been discussing, I was out at Summer League. I had a great time out there. I'm actually wearing, because I'm an idiot, I'm wearing an $80 belt that I bought from the Las Vegas airport. I forgot a belt. I thought, hey, I brought a jacket that I never ended up wearing, and I forgot a belt, and I needed a belt, and I don't know what possessed me to not remember that it was Vegas, and there was probably a Ross or a Marshall's or whatever. I knew we were staying off the strip, so I was worried about, being able to get back on over there. So I ended up buying an $80 real Italian leather, though, $80 belt.
At the airport.
At the Lost, I arrived, looked for a place with a belt for about 30 minutes and bought an $80 belt. I thought about trying to return it when I left, but I just figured, whatever.
Just cut your losses.
I didn't want to have to deal with them telling me no, because they're probably going to tell me no. So,
well, Alan, looks like for the next 30 minutes, you're going to be working for free.
Yeah, pretty much. I got to pay it off.
You got to pay off your belt.
I got to pay off this stupid belt. It is real Italian leather, and it's my fault.
Do you keep saying that just to make you feel better?
It is my first real Italian leather belt.
For $80.
For $80.
Even though
it might not even be real. Who knows?
You probably would have cost $15 at Ross.
And the crazy part is I never even really needed it, because it was so hot in Vegas. I think I wore pants once.
I mean, you could wear pants to the games.
Oh, I did, but it just...
I guess maybe people said the Cox Pavilion was pretty sweaty, so maybe just at Thomas and Mack.
It was. So that's what happened at Summer League for me. So my wallet is down, and so is Dalton Connect's stock. This is from Jovan Buha. And your segue strikes again. It's a good one.
You're getting better today. I really like the dumb one you had earlier for the Buster Posey.
There you go. This is from Jovan Buha, friend of the show. Summer League has not helped Connect stock, and I don't think at this point he's valued as a first-round pick in terms of asset evaluation. That was what I heard in Vegas from talking to multiple people, non-Lakers people, just gauging what would you give for Dalton Connect, or if the Lakers are putting Dalton Connect in a trade, what is he worth? And the feedback I got was no longer worth a first-round valuation. Did the Lakers break Dalton Connect with that trade that didn't go through?
100%.
Is he going to be able? And I know there's some old schooler out there. I mean, figure it out. You got drafted. Stop complaining. Figure it out. But see, I'm being dead serious. Did that Mark Williams trade that didn't go through? Dalton Connect clearly didn't see it coming. He thought he found his home in LA. He hasn't played as much. Then Luka comes into the fold. Did they break Dalton Connect? Does he just need, whether he's a first-round valuation or not, do the Lakers just need to move on from Dalton Connect?
Here, let me make it real simple. Dalton Connect, before February, was shooting from the three-point line about 41%. Post-trade deadline, he shot about 38%, which is still pretty good, but he was not playing very many minutes after the Luka Doncic trade. So, they kind of broke him, and this is kind of the risk when you draft older rookies, because he was 23 when he got drafted.
Right.
And maybe this is a telltale sign for Nick Clifford is you got to be an impact player right away, because if not, you are about to be a 24 or 25-year-old, at which point most NBA people agree your role is pretty defined in the NBA. There's a few examples that are otherwise different, but by 25, your role's not changing all that much.
No, and I want to bring this back to Devin Carter, because a lot of people, we spent a lot of the show yesterday talking about Summer League, and everyone, some people were hopping in saying, why in the bleep are we talking about Summer League? It doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah. Well, clearly it does, because Dalton Connect is being talked about as far as the Lakers are concerned as somebody that they don't have a lot of assets, right? And they're trying to then that doesn't help either. Dalton Knecht knowing that they're essentially trying to move him if possible. So bringing that back to Devin Carter and how he played, if Dalton Knecht's valuation can change from Summer League in a negative way, taking it to the proposed trade with the Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga, Devin Carter, Dario Saric in 2 seconds. The Warriors were out there. I saw Mike Dunleavy out there as well. Did Devin Carter help the Kings, help his own cause and how he played? I would say, going back to the stock up or stock down from yesterday, I would say that it probably didn't change anything, right? He has the bad game to start. He has an outstanding game in the second game, plays pretty well in the third. I don't think the Warriors sat there and said, okay, and which I didn't think it would be the case, but seeing how Dalton Knecht's value has maybe changed a bit, I think it was possible, but it did not happen. Now it becomes a conversation of could the Warriors say, hey, that deal that you were talking about, we know you got a little bit of redundancy. How about Nick Clifford, Dario Saric in 2 seconds? Now, that could be something that we talk about, and I hope Scott Perry would tell him to bleep off.
I don't know why you would trade a rookie that soon if you believe that that person was worth trading into the first round for.
It's more about how much do you believe in what Jonathan Kuminga could be.
Well, it's also the point of, we say draft picks sometimes lose value as soon as you drive them off the lot. You would have been better off trading the 2027 Spurs first instead of Nick Clifford, because at least they still can hope the 2027 Spurs first will turn into something.
Yes, I am just saying from the aspect of stock up, stock down coming out of Summer League, I don't think Devin Carter did himself or the Kings any favors. I don't think he hurt them, but if this was a world where he was able to maybe build up his stock a little bit, I don't think he harmed it. I just don't think that anyone is saying, man, he didn't jump off anybody's page. I don't believe that he found himself on anyone's shut him down list. We talked about Tyler Rucker and No Ceilings. They had Nick Clifford as a shut him down list, guys that they think performed really well in Summer League and don't need to continue to play. Devin Carter didn't make it onto any of those lists for how much that actually matters. But looking at how Dalton Knecht is actively hurting his value, maybe he doesn't feel like leaving LA, and maybe, I'm not saying self-sabotage, but if he's hurting his value, and now Jovan Buha is reporting, well, the Lakers would like to deal, the Lakers are trying to offer him to the table, and teams are saying not only was he barely a first-round valuation, and this is what happens when you drive the car off the lot, and now everybody saw what happened with the trade that didn't go through. So they're noticing, I wouldn't call it pouting, but there were some issues, right? Didn't he miss a game? He didn't play a game because he was dealing with everything. Now he comes out second year of Summer League. Hey, you're supposed, and it's the same thing with Devin. Second year of Summer League, you're supposed to show I'm not even supposed to be here, dude.
Yeah,
I'm an older rookie. I was an older rookie. I am not supposed to be here, and neither of them did that. I think Devin actually played better than Dalton Knecht, but neither of them did that.
Well, look at the dichotomy of even the two summer leagues, right? Last year, it was, Bronny James is here, but you know who's really the guy? Their first-round pick, Dalton Knecht.
Yeah.
And this year, it's Dalton Knecht's value has tanked, but Bronny James is looking scrappy at Summer League, which I didn't watch any of the games to know if that was true or not, but it underlines the point of, even a Bronny James who is not a draft. I know he got picked, but he only got picked because LeBron is his dad. Not a draft pick, should have been undrafted at 19 years old, is inherently more valuable than a 23-year-old first-round pick if you believe that 19-year-old will make developmental leaps by being in the NBA.
Yeah.
And Dalton Knecht looked great right away. It looked like they got a steal of a draft pick. The Lakers tried to cash him out, and now it looks like that value has evaporated. And maybe it'll come back, but again, he's 24 years old. That's about the time when, Keegan Murray's 23, and we're talking about is Keegan Murray possibly going to make a leap or going to grow anymore? And Dalton Connect is certainly no Keegan Murray.
No, it's to the point where I know they're trying to if his value is that damaged, you might want to just cut your losses on both ends. And they don't owe Dalton Connect anything, but this is turning into I know he's older, but this could quickly turn into a second draft situation where obviously I like Dalton Connect. He's who I wanted the Kings to pick, where the Lakers just kind of swallow their pride and say, you know what, we're not going to get whatever we thought we were going to get for Dalton Connect. Let's just get him out of here. And then he gets to another team with a fresh start that believes in him, and you see him start to and I'll also give him runways, because it's not like he's going to get a bunch of time on that team anyway, regardless of whether we're doing the mental health thing or not. Just give him somewhere where he's going to be able to play. I could see him still working out, but I do not think it's going to work out in Los Angeles. As we hit the bottom of the hour, let's talk about the best remaining free agents according to Keith Smith. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Gunnar Hoagland out with that right hip impingement, underwent successful surgery for that repair and is expected to miss the remainder of the 2025 season. Grant Holman, whose expected return is TBD, felt discomfort in his right shoulder, and the MRI revealed tendonitis in his rotator cuff. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. It's Allen Stiles here. You injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero upfront. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
And we're back, live during a Flex Alert. Dialed in on the thermostat. Oh, we're pre-cooling before 4 p.m., folks.
And that's the end of the third. Time to set it back to 78 from 4 to 9 p.m. Clutch move by the home team. What's the game plan from here on out?
Laundry?
Not today.
Dishwasher?
Sidelined.
What a performance by Team California. The power truly is ours.
During a Flex Alert, pre-cool, power down, and let's beat the heat together.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our Giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing and Air Conditioning. Need a new water heater? Call Bell Brothers. Need a free plumbing estimate? Call Bell Brothers. Have a clogged drain? Call Bell Brothers and we'll unclog it for only $67, plus free camera inspection, valued at $250. We don't guess at plumbing and drain problems. We used advanced camera inspections and diagnostics. We're fast, reliable, and respect your time by showing up when we say we will. The price we quote is the price you pay. With more technicians, more trucks, and more experience, we get the job done right the first time. No surprises. Our technicians are all background checked, drug tested, and will leave the work area cleaner than they found it. Don't wait. Call Bell Brothers today or book online at nosurpriseguys.com. That's nosurpriseguys.com.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
15 minutes away from Lumineers tickets, the Lumineers tickets at Golden One Center.
I think it's okay to say Lumineers.
Hey, man, I got to read it. I'm Ron Burgundy. On August 6th at Golden One Center, switch on over if you haven't already from the app to AM or to the YouTube chat to make sure you are on time. If you want a chance to win those tickets, we will be giving away all season long. And we are breaking down the best remaining free agents according to our guy, Keith Smith of Spa Track. And I asked him to his face, is it Spo Track or Spa Track? It is Spa Track. So I confirmed with him there. For the point guards, you have Josh Giddey, restricted free agent, Brogdon, Westbrook, Simmons, Jared Butler, and Cam Payne. For the shooting guards, you have Quentin Grimes, restricted free agent, Cam Thomas, restricted free agent, DeAnthony Melton, who I guess we're just waiting to sign with the Warriors.
Yeah, he's going to the Warriors. They just have to figure out this Kuminga thing.
GP2, you have for the small forwards, if you will, Amir Coffey, Torrey Craig, Kessler Edwards, Imani Bates. I'm kind of surprised that Kessler Edwards hasn't been picked up somewhere yet.
I mean, he's only ever had two-way contracts, and I'm guessing he's now at that age where...
Yeah, what is he, probably 28 now?
No, he's younger than that. He's been on 3 different teams on two-way contracts, and no one is signing him to a fully guaranteed deal.
He played center this past season. He's only 24.
Well, he turns 25 in about a week.
Yeah, I think he just kind of suffers from what is it that you do here? He's just kind of a tweener, if you will.
I mean, last year he was huge on Dallas, but again, Dallas was awful.
Right.
So I don't know what to do with it. Like, he was on Brooklyn, then he came when Kevin Durant was still there. Then he came to Sacramento.
Like, if you're 24, 6'7", good defensively, are you cooked? 40% from 3, he must not take a ton. He took 1.4.
Yeah, that was kind of Kessler's thing, was just he had no offensive ability, and his defense wasn't good enough to justify another roster.
He's just a tweener. He's just a tweener. I just think when I watched him with the Kings, laterally, he's not quick enough. He's 6'7", nice size, but he kind of moves like he's 6'9".
Yeah, I mean, Kessler was also playing a lot of garbage time more than anything else too. Although he did technically start on the beam team a couple times. I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was like once or twice. He had a random start in there, but other than that, yeah, you didn't really see much Kessler Edwards the last 2 years, other than when he was playing center on a Dallas team that was in jeopardy of having to forfeit games because so many people got injured because Nico Harrison was sensitive and fired their really good medical staff and hired these idiots to run the team.
And they still found a way to embarrass the Kings on the Kings home floor. They still found a way to do that. Torrey Craig, we were joking about those wings that everyone wanted when De'Aaron Fox was still on the team. Torrey Craig is kind of in that conversation. He was one of those guys too.
He used to be.
Yeah.
Now he's not anymore, but once upon a time he was in the, what do we call it? The Avengers of guys who no one thinks are good, but every time they are available for trade, everyone thinks you should trade for them.
Yes. So Torrey Craig still available. He's 34 years old, and I think he's single now because Klay Thompson is with Meg Thee Stallion. Imani Bates, one of the best, I guess, highlight reel young players that just didn't pan out.
Was, I think, high school player of the year as a sophomore.
Yeah, just did not work out for Imani Bates. Power forwards, you have Jonathan Kuminga, Chris Boucher, who I am surprised Boucher hasn't been signed yet. Trey Lyles movement. Precious Achua, another surprise there. And Bol. Trey Lyles, I think if I'm Trey Lyles, it's just ring chasing time. It's just, how do I get on the Rockets? How do I get on the Thunder? How do I get on any of these teams? How do I get on the Cavs?
Oh, go to the Knicks. Mike Brown. That was the reason he came back originally, was because of Mike Brown. Yeah, he should just go to the Knicks.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Precious Achua, is that surprising? Is his play just kind of aged out a bit?
I genuinely don't know. Like, I don't know why Precious Achua is available. I don't know why he thought that he was going to get playing time on the Knicks and was demanding trades at the trade deadline. Like, I don't know what to do with
25 years old. I'll tell you this, man. Getting to Jonathan Kuminga, these guys, they need to be very careful who they put in their camps. There's a story that basically the Warriors offered Kuminga real close, if not literally $30 million a year, and Kuminga turned it down. That's from last season. Now, and the reason that's being brought up is because it feels as if he's now trying to spin the block and say, hey, we're actually good with that. And the Warriors are saying, well, we're not, because we tried to offer it to you. A lot of people, when I'm in the kind of Warrior spaces, saying Kuminga needs to not fire his agent, but get everything in order. He's been given bad advice, man. Bad advice for Jonathan Kuminga, and he can't sign the qualifying offer. He can't. Whatever it is, it's going to come out that he's lost a bit of money based on what the Warriors had offered him the last go round at this. But it's really important for these dudes to have a good camp. And somebody brought up that, look, as much as people go back and forth with Clutch, you had Rich Paul saying, and we joke about, all right, Rich Paul this, Rich Paul that, but he said out loud, yeah, we obviously assess these quote unquote free agent markets and what it is. Brandon Ingram, we knew that we wanted to get him traded specifically to Toronto, because we knew that Toronto would be willing to pay him. And I didn't think he was going to get that on the market. And you know what? Rich Paul was right. Brandon Ingram wouldn't, whatever the heck he got, which seems like an overpay to me, but that's not our problem. It's Toronto's problem.
$40 million a year.
Rich Paul said, no, you need to go to Toronto. You don't need to hit that market. I don't like what I'm seeing. So it's really about your camp and them giving you good or bad instruction. Al Horford, from the center position, he's got that Warriors deal kind of in place. Thomas Bryant, who he's on 5 teams at one time. I promise you, I've seen him on 5. He's on the end of 5 different benches at one time.
Yeah,
Thomas Bryant is.
He's been on 5 teams in 4 years.
Yeah,
and has been part of many iconic moments in NBA history, such as when LeBron broke the scoring record, and for the rest of time, he'll be there calling for the ball in the post while LeBron is breaking the all-time scoring record.
DeAndre Jordan, Bismack Biyombo. So that's your center. That's your center position. I think, and 916 is kind of hopping in that Edwards is interesting. I do think he's interesting at 24. I do, right? I mean, I need to follow him on social media. Getting Patrick Ewing. Do you work on that shot? What are you working on right now, Kessler Edwards?
Do we really need to spin the block, though, on a guy who...
At 24?
I mean, but they already decided he wasn't worth a roster spot.
That was a different group. Clearly, everyone has decided he's not good enough for a roster spot. So he's still available.
Maybe it's time to go play for the Melbourne Hawks or the go get your money playing in another country.
Not yet.
It's not time to give up on the dream.
Not quite yet. NFL training camp begins today. The talk of the town as we discuss all of the win totals for the elite of the elite and the not so elite. But the talk of the town is Jalen Hurts, and where does he rank? Cam Newton, Dan Orlovsky, everybody is arguing about Jalen Hurts and how elite he is. One more hour with you, Allen Stiles Show on Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and essentially located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
There was always a crowd gathered around our dining table when I was growing up. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Everyone was welcome at my mother's table, so holidays, birthdays, and celebrations always included family and friends. I used to think I was the most popular kid in the neighborhood until I realized that my friends were really there for my mother's incredible cooking. Years later, when I bought my own dining table from Naturewood, I made sure it was large enough to make friends feel welcome. And right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings Dine in Style sale, you have an opportunity to find the perfect dining room furniture to help you create your own treasured memories. Choose from casual to formal or anything in between. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings during the Dine in Style sale off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. I love spending a day on the golf course with invited friends, but not with uninvited mosquitoes, which can carry serious diseases like West Nile virus. Don't let mosquito bites ruin your round or your health. Stay safe while playing golf, hiking, or enjoying the outdoors with family. Defend yourself with insect repellent. For tips about your golf game, listen for Golf to Go. But for more tips on protecting yourself and your home from mosquitoes, visit fightthebite.net.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
The Lumineers, they just make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And speaking of warm and fuzzy, what's up with this weather, man?
It's like fall.
Yeah, I got river cats tonight. I'm wondering, I got to wear an undershirt, something like that. Is it going to get cold?
It's the coolest July in 3 decades.
Yeah. Now, this is Lumineers weather. This is Lumineers weather. This is what Christopher Lott just drinks a bowl of loaded baked potato soup and listens to the Lumineers in front of a fireplace.
Yeah, the classics.
Classics. That's just America, you know.
Are they from America? Let's see if they are.
By the sounds of it, I'm gonna say yes.
They're from Denver, Colorado.
There you go. Now this is Colorado music.
Sure.
This is Coors Ballpark right here.
I know we were talking about this genre of music yesterday too, like Mumford and Sons and Vance Joy and all that. Wikipedia lists it as alternative folk.
Yeah.
So I guess that's like instead of all rock,
winter music.
Yeah.
Fall music. I can smell fall when I listen to the Lumineers. And you're gonna smell fall at Golden One Center on August 6th, as you have a chance right now to win a pair of tickets to see the Lumineers at Golden One Center. The Lumineers are bringing the Automatic World Tour to Sacramento on August 6th. We're looking for caller number
3.
Caller number 3 on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now to win a pair of tickets to see the Lumineers at Golden One Center on August 6th. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. Looking for caller number 3 to see the Lumineers. 209 is on the text line saying Isaac Jones was robbed. Kyle Filipowski got Summer League MVP. And speaking of Summer League, Keith Smith says, I finished emptying out my Summer League notebook with some notes from personnel around the NBA on the NBA draft, NBA expansion, then notes from all 30 Western Conference teams. So we have the clips that he wrote as far as Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray is concerned. Then we are going to get on into some NFL talk with Jalen Hurts, Cam Newton, and the win totals for teams around the league. This is what Keith Smith had to say. Quote, on Keon Ellis, and he was talking to a Sacramento front office executive. Quote, on Keon Ellis and a possible extension. And here's the quote from them. Quote, that's the goal. We had a lot of discussion on the best way to handle things with Keon and the option we had for him. Ultimately, it's a show of trust that we picked up his option instead of making him a restricted free agent. That helped us add some talent this year that we might not have been able to get otherwise. Now we hope to get something done that keeps Keon in Sacramento because he's a really good player and different from all of our other guards, the Sacramento front office executive said. On Keegan Murray, quote, "We're so happy with Keegan and his development. He's had a tough role every year, really. As a rookie, we asked him to shoot a lot more. Last year, he was often the fourth or fifth option. For a young guy, that can be hard to adjust to. But to his credit, Keegan never balked. We feel like he's a top defender as his position, and the offense is there. It's on us to make sure we don't let him go too long without getting involved," the Kings front office executive said. "As far as an extension goes, Keegan and his reps know how we feel about him. We're hopeful that we can get something done that keeps him in Sacramento for a long time." Keith Smith bomb here at 12:45 on a Tuesday. So they want to keep Keon and Keegan. And obviously, this is what we thought would be the case. But there you have it. They want to keep Keon. They basically are showing appreciation to Keon for allowing them to make some moves with his contract being what it is after they picked up his option. And with Keegan, quote, "We're hopeful that we can get something done that keeps him in Sacramento for a long time." I wish it was a little bit more forward. I wish it was we are close to getting something done. That doesn't mean that they're not close, but I wish there was something that showed a bit more urgency, and maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. I do not know. But that is from Keith Smith, and that is kind of a breakdown of how they're viewing their two most pressing monetary situations with Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray. No real surprises there. I think when we see, and that's what's so funny about the reactions to the Kings accepting Keon's option. Does that mean when it first happened, oh, they don't care about Keon, they want to get him out of here, whatever people were saying? Clearly this stuff gets vetted. I'm not saying that teams don't make mistakes. Anthony Bennett was drafted, right? First overall. Teams make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes everyone gets so caught up in their feelings that they don't really work through. Now, I get it. This is the same team that brought on not only DeMar DeRozan, but then brought on Zach LaVine on top of it and created Bulls West. So I understand why you would feel the way that you may feel. But I'm going to give the new front office group the benefit of the doubt. And when it first happened, everybody was freaking out. Does that mean you don't care about Keon? Does that mean they're trying to move on from Keon? Are they not in a good spot? And clearly that is not their intention. Again, they're trying to ensure that not only are they good for the future, but they put a decent product on the floor right now as the tickets are going up and they're trying to sell that they are going to be in this conversation. You don't have to believe them, but that's at the very least what they're trying to sell. Kyle, you got your winner?
We do. Shout out to Eric. Eric is our lucky winner of the Lumineers tickets for today.
Mm-hmm.
And we got 3 more chances to win rest of the week.
There you go. So while you were handling that, Kyle, Keith Smith, he dropped a really good article about 15 minutes ago, talked to a Sacramento front office executive about Keegan and Keon. They want to keep both of them. I would have liked the Keegan note to have a little bit more urgency. Here's the quote again. As far as an extension goes, Keegan and his reps know how we feel about him. We're hopeful that we can get something done that keeps him in Sacramento for a long time. And before that, they said, it's on us. They were talking about Keegan from the offensive standpoint. It's on us to make sure we don't let him go too long without getting involved. But yeah, liked what I heard on both. Would have liked to hear something a little bit more urgent from the Keon perspective, but I'm still not particularly worried.
Yeah, I don't know what happens with the Keon situation now, because we talked about it when the will they opt in or not was being talked about before, was by opting in and getting him at the tremendous discount this year, they are risking the possibility that someone else will cash him out in free agency this summer. And if the Kings don't have the highest offer, then he will go to whatever team gives him that offer. This is similar to the Miami Heat when they opted into an option on Max Strus. And then I think that was the year they went to the finals. And then Strus left in free agency to join the Cavaliers.
Right.
So again, it's just one of those. They took the tremendous discount. Keon's going to be at like $2.3 million this year. We talked about he's one of the best found money value players in the league from the data that Matt Issa over at Forbes put together. They're going to get a great value on him this year, and then after that, a little bit of it is out of their control just because it's up to what the market dictates. And if the market's not looking great, then maybe Keon's representation does kind of what Malik did last summer and says, hey, we don't think that big offer is coming. Let's take the 3 or 4 year deal on the table from Sacramento.
Yeah, they also said he's a really good player and different from all of our other guards. I find that fascinating.
So it's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, It's not surprising, but it is an interesting way to look at that.
It's also not particularly true unless they just are not counting Devin Carter as which I think they are counting Devin Carter, but he's not maybe just a better version of that type of guard.
I don't know, but saying Devin Carter, while I think the prototypical role for Devin Carter is a Keon Ellis type role right now, that doesn't mean he's there right now.
Yes, we're arguing the type of guard he is versus the level of that type of guard.
Yeah.
He's different from all of our other guards, even though him and Devin might be the same type of guard. He's better, which makes him different.
Which I guess you could get bogged down in the weeds on that too, because the underlying point is, yes, if you look at Dennis Schroeder, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, Keon Ellis,
the guards we plan on playing.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah, and then Devin Carter and Nick Clifford are even their own cases, because I would say Nick Clifford, I mean, we've never seen Nick Clifford play in the NBA.
No, they're probably not counting him.
But his style of play, I would guess, is different than Keon Ellis's style of play. I mean, Keon Ellis on offense is essentially cutting and shooting. But defensively, he has that very specific skill set of he is excellent at guarding twos, like elite level deflector and great at defending off ball too.
Yeah, the 530 says the 209 says, I think this is going to be a Monk situation. No one really wants Keon, and we get him at a fair price. So I agree and I disagree, 209. I don't think nobody wants Keon, but to the point of what we just learned, or what we did end up learning with Malik Monk, that there weren't 7 teams lined up for him, and not that he gave it that much time, but the agent, they're talking this whole season. Well, they'll know. It's not as if, okay, now that the season is over, let's go see what's out there. The agent is doing this homework the whole time. So with Keon, I think you're on to something in that, okay, cool. So he's 26, he's 6'3", he's good at guarding point guards and 2 guards, and offensively, he can shoot the 3. He can't really do much else. Yeah, I do. And I reported on this from Summer League. There are some purple lenses being worn out here about Keon Ellis. That's not to say other teams won't want him, but I don't know that and all it takes is one team, but I don't, especially when you're unrestricted, but I don't know that the Kings are going to have to worry about 7 teams trying to get Keon Ellis
at $20 million a year.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly.
I'm sure there are teams that want Keon Ellis, but do you want him more than the Kings, right? I don't think the Kings are going into free agency and saying...
Think about bench players as well, right? How many bench players are out there that are making more? Because I don't think Keon, wherever he's headed next, based on what they're going to want him to do, I don't see Keon starting.
I think it depends, right? Like, if you're the Clippers right now, would you rather start Bradley Beal or Chris Dunn? Like, I think that's kind of the conundrum of a Keon Ellis is like, for a team that needs defense, having a wing defender is more valuable.
But how much are they paying Chris Dunn? They're not paying Chris Dunn $20 million.
No, they're not paying Chris Dunn, but they're paying him more than Bradley Beal. I think it's just a microcosm for the same kind of situation, right? If I switched Chris Dunn and Keon Ellis right now, there's a chance Keon Ellis starts over Bradley Beal, even if Bradley Beal's playing the closing minutes, right? I think that's just there are teams that will have similar situations to that. I don't even know what teams are interested in Keon Ellis, so it's hard to kind of speculate it. That's why I think the Max Strus example is a good one. Not that they're going to be like the Heat and go to the finals, but like the Heat were comfortable enough at what they valued Max Strus at that they were willing to risk him getting cashed out in free agency, and he got cashed out by the Cavaliers, and now he's like a $16 million super sub, essentially. Or sometimes he starts, but still, the point is someone might cash him out, but the Kings obviously value him very high.
Yes, so they're going to be in the it's not as if, I think the bottom line is looking at his market, they believe that they will still have a pretty good chance to hold on to him. Might not be perfect, but a pretty good chance to hold on to him. So that is what is the situation there. We'll talk a little bit more about Keon and Keegan, of course, but we want to get into the NFL training camps because they begin today, and we have some over-unders and win totals from BetMGM. All right, so just off the top here, you got the Browns set at 4.5 wins. You have the Saints, Titans, and Giants and Jets set at 5.5 wins. Raiders, Panthers at 6.5 wins. The Falcons, Colts, Jaguars, and Dolphins at 7.5 wins. The Cardinals, Cowboys, Bears, Seahawks, Vikings, Patriots, Steelers at the classic 8.5. Bengals, Broncos, Rams, Packers, Texans, Chargers, Bucks, Commanders at 9.5. The Lions and Niners at 10.5. The Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, and Eagles at 11.5. Lions and Niners, that's so funny too, because everybody kind of bagging on the Niners and they're not going to be the same. They're sitting right there at 10.5. And I know they have a really good schedule, which I think is part of it, but they're sitting right there with the Lions at 10.5. I don't think that, at the very least, Vegas is not disrespecting as the Niners as much as other kind of outlets have maybe disrespected the Niners, because that's what you got the Ravens who are elite, the Chiefs who are elite, the Bills who are elite, and the Eagles. All those teams made deep playoff runs, and 2 of them were in the Super Bowl. And then right under that, the next opportunity, you have the Lions and the Niners. So the idea that the Niners were being disrespected, I think was or has been a little bit overblown. Now the Raiders, for example, sitting at a measly 6.5. I mean, that's overall day. Let's just get that out the way. Let's get that out the way.
Gino's here to run the table.
Gino is here to run the table, not roll the dice. 6.5 wins is arguably disrespectful to my Raiders. The same as the Panthers is kind of nuts.
But don't the Raiders have like the 30th ranked defense in the league?
Yeah, I mean, it's all on paper. You got to play the game on the field. You know, you play the game on the field. I would go over on the Raiders. I would go over. The Titans are at 5.5. I would go over on the Titans.
Which, by the way, did you hear what their general manager said today? One of the reporters asked, do you think this team right now can win a Super Bowl? And the coach kind of like looked at him and smirked, and the general manager was like, that's our intention every year, but obviously we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there you go. 5.5 wins. Give me the over on the Titans. Give me the over 6.5 on the Raiders. Give me, this is where it gets sticky. Give me the over on the Falcons. I'll fall for it again. 7.5.
Michael Penix.
Yeah, 7.5. I'll fall for it. The Cowboys, I said I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid at 8.5. I'll probably just stay away. All these 8.5 teams, I'll probably just stay away from all of them.
8.5s and 9.5s is like, just don't.
Just don't touch it.
Because we know every year 20 teams are between 7 and 10 wins.
Yeah, the Cardinals, not touching that. Cowboys, I can't. Bears, I don't know enough. Seahawks, I don't know enough. Vikings, don't know enough, even though I know their offense is elite. Patriots, Steelers, Bengals, Broncos, Rams, Packers, Texans, Chargers, Bucks, Commanders at 9.5. I'm buying the sophomore slump. That's just been kind of my take on everything. So give me the Commanders under, actually.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Bo Nix there.
I might go both. I might go sophomore slump on both. Give me the under on, but I do like Bo Nix. I think the problem is the AFC West. Give me the under on the Commanders, 9.5. Give me the under on the Broncos. Basically it's the Broncos or the Chargers. Both of them not going to be 9.5. So
I don't know.
Who do you trust more?
They were both there last year. They both got to 10
and I don't
last
think they're
year.
both going to do it this year.
Because the Raiders.
Are going to be sealing W's.
The one I'm surprised by is the Patriots being so high.
Yeah, give me the
I mean, maybe there's something I just don't know, but
well, I think more of it is the AFC East, the Dolphins. They have the Dolphins at 7.5 wins. Everybody's done with the Dolphins. Isn't Tyreek Hill still trying to leave?
No, I don't think so anymore. But the Dolphins are so bad on defense. I saw someone, we can do this exercise now. Someone talked about after trading Jalen Ramsey, they might have the worst quarterback room ever assembled, in the history of the NFL. They're just not going to be able to defend anyone.
Yeah, and they can't play Tua. You know how I feel about Tua. I'm not touching it because it's 7.5 and it's just dangerous. But I don't know that the Dolphins are going to be good at all.
The Dolphins' number one corner right now is someone named Storm Duck.
Storm Duck. DUCK?
Yes, that is the number one cornerback on the Dolphins.
It's a great name, but clearly, 7.5. I don't know about that. The Panthers, I think, might surprise some people, but I really don't know what to do with the Lions. I don't. I'd probably take the over though.
I disagree. I think the Lions are the team most poised to take a big step back this year. We've talked about this before. Like when you lose your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, your future Hall of Fame center, and a couple guys leaving free agency, that is the recipe for a big step back. It doesn't happen to everyone, but that is the recipe right there for our window has closed.
Yeah, it was a quick window. I mean, that'd be a 2-year window essentially. So I'm still believing in the Lions. I think they will have a bit of a chip on their shoulder because of the injuries. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'm going to take the over. I'll fall for it. The Niners at 10.5. I'm probably going to take the over as well. I'm going to go with 11 for the Niners. You look at what you lock down Brock. I know the Juwan Jennings drama has kind of continued on, but you get Christian McCaffrey back. I'll tell you this much. If they don't get to 11, I don't think they're going to be close. I don't think you're going to lose this thing by, oh man, the Niners won 10 games. I think they either get to 11 or they're sitting at about 7 or 8. That's how I feel.
I don't know, because I feel like the only thing separating them from the rest of the pack in the NFC West is just those favorable schedule bounces where they play like the Browns, the Giants, and the Bears or something like that, versus the Rams have to play the Eagles. But
that's my argument, that it's either the wheels are going to fall off or they're going to handle the 11 wins pretty easily. I don't think they'll fall. I don't think they'll fall at at 10, 9 or 10.
I feel like the fact that the Niners, the entire division is between 8 and 10, basically right now. The Niners are at 10.5. The Rams are at 9.5. The Cardinals and the Seahawks are at 8.5. I feel like that's them telling us they don't think any of those teams are remarkably better than the other, right?
No, I hear you. That's just my opinion on it. Don't follow me. Don't trail me then. That's completely fine with me. There are some conversations that are getting a bit heated as far as Cam Newton and Jalen Hurts is concerned. Dan Orlovsky is weighing in as well. Where should Jalen Hurts fall on the top quarterback list? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In Z23 select models only.
Wow, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
The Hagen Oaks Cutting Edge Putter Fitting Studio offers you more technology, more choices, and more service. Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. With $30,000 worth of state-of-the-art technology ready for your fitting, Hagen Oaks will help you make your best putting stroke while finding the best putter design, shape, hosel, length, and loft for your game. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for more.
At Power Business Technology, we're not another big box corporation. We're your neighbors, locally owned and operated. We know what businesses like yours need, from reliable printers to high-performance copiers. We'll help you find the right solution with personal service you just can't get online. Need setup or support? We're just down the road and always happy to help. Power Business Technology, family hometown service with big-time solutions. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise Guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing and Air Conditioning. Need a new water heater? Call Bell Brothers. Need a free plumbing estimate? Call Bell Brothers. Have a clogged drain? Call Bell Brothers and we'll unclog it for only $67, plus free camera inspection, valued at $250. We don't guess at plumbing and drain problems. We used advanced camera inspections and diagnostics. We're fast, reliable, and respect your time by showing up when we say we will. The price we quote is the price you pay. With more technicians, more trucks, and more experience, we get the job done right the first time. No surprises. Our technicians are all background checked, drug tested, and will leave the work area cleaner than they found it. Don't wait. Call Bell Brothers today or book online at nosurpriseguys.com. That's nosurpriseguys.com.
Bring the whole family to Sutter Health Park for Sacramento River Cats baseball. It's more than a game. It's an experience your kids will never forget. Enjoy exciting action on the field, delicious ballpark food, and fun activities for all ages. From meeting Dinger the mascot to running the bases every Sunday, there is something for everyone. Create lasting memories with your family this season. Get your tickets at rivercats.com.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Avery-Anna. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hop Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
Summer's flying by, and that back-to-school checklist, it's growing fast. New backpack? Check. School supplies? Check. Dentist appointment? Let's fix that. Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics is making it easy to cross dental checkups off your summer list fast with priority scheduling for new patients and kid-friendly care that makes them smile. It's one less thing to worry about before fall. Call now or book online at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com because healthy smiles should be the easiest thing to check off your summer list.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Before we get to this Jalen Hurts convo, and the reason I want to talk about the Jalen Hurts thing is because it just reminds me of it's the same Brock Purdy conversation. It's the same exact thing. But about 30 minutes ago, the all Summer League teams were announced. Allen, did any Kings make the squad? Well, you bet your butt they did. You have Kyle Filipowski winning Most Valuable Player, All Summer League First Team. You have Nick Clifford, Kyle Filipowski, of course, David Jones-Garcia, who David Jones-Garcia was balling all Summer League long. Jordan Miller and Terrence Shannon Jr., who famously helped the Timberwolves during the playoffs. So obviously, he's played some high-level basketball. But David Jones-Garcia balled out. Shout out to Nick Clifford making first team. You have the All-Summer League second team, Ron Holland the second, Isaac Jones, A.J. Mitchell, K.J. Simpson, and Con Kneppel. And you have Isaac Jones, second team there. So two Kings players, one making first team, Nick Clifford, one making second team. I mean, that's basically all you can ask for. If you're going to draft an older rookie, the same way the Kings drafted Nick Clifford, and because he's an older rookie, he's got to prove himself. You're not going to shut him down like a Cooper Flagg or anything like that. That's exactly what you're looking for. So shout out to Nick Clifford and Isaac Jones. Isaac Jones has done nothing but the right things, right? He's kind of brought his lunch pail in every single day. He was asked about Keon. He was asked about, some of these other two-way players and two-way situations, and he's been a bit of a light in the tunnel for guys like Isaiah Crawford. We interviewed Isaiah Crawford, and Isaiah Crawford said, "Yeah, I look up to Keon. I look up to Isaac Jones and what they've been able to do." So, great shout for Isaac Jones, and of course for Nick Clifford being that first rounder. This is what you want to see, especially when you do go in the older direction. So, shout out to them. One of them was robbed for MVP, but hey, look at Kyle Filipowski and the Jazz. That's what you need. If you stink, you should have somebody in this group.
I'm not sure what to do with his whole situation, but you can Google that one.
Yeah, me neither.
At least I would rather have Nick Clifford on my team than Kyle Filipowski.
I'm not touching that one. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Okay, so we have two pieces of audio to play. Okay, we have Cam Newton, okay, and he's discussing Jalen Hurts. Then we have Dan Orlovsky discussing Jalen Hurts. And this thing took the world by storm. At one point, it was comparing Jalen Hurts to Cam Newton. And I believe I spoke on that, and I said, it's Cam Newton. Now, Cam Newton got word of it. I don't know if that's affecting how he is evaluating Jalen Hurts, but this is Cam Newton on Jalen Hurts.
Now, I know everybody's going to get mad at this. Cam hating on Jalen Hurts. It's hard for me to grade Jalen Hurts with the talent that he has around him. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. But if we're talking about what they bring to the table holistically, it's hard to judge what Jalen Hurts can do when you're throwing to a guy like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. We have tight end skill set. You have a dominant defense, the best running back in the game. Download Madden and see how many stars is on the offensive side of Philly. Like, you got King Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely, those guys, that's cool. But when you're comparing, Lamar Jackson still shows you why he's an elite player. Josh Allen has to play elite in order for them to play. Lamar Jackson has to play at a high level for the Baltimore Ravens, even though that they have a dominant defense. Patrick Mahomes, he got a lot of talent. But boy, oh boy, you can't put no John Doe in Patrick Mahomes and think that they still going to win the way they win it. I understand that. Jalen Hurts does not have to play elite for the Philadelphia Eagles to win. He has to play good, but he doesn't have to play elite. We're not asking you to win the game. We're just asking you not to lose it.
Later in that clip, Cam also brings up the game manager, game changer stuff. Again, very Brock Purdy, all of it. And now that pushed on a conversation that had been happening, but Cam was brought up, so now he wants to speak on it, which I just feel like Cam isn't really in an objective position once people are comparing him to you. And I think Cam is better than Jalen Hurts, but or was better during his heyday. He was an MVP, but Jalen Hurts not being a top 10 QB after winning a Super Bowl is kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. Let's hear what Dan Orlovsky had to say, which is essentially the complete opposite. Here it is.
Jalen Hurts is the quarterback you got to go through in the NFC to win the Super Bowl. You have to go through Jalen Hurts. Whether you think he's top 5 in the league at the position, top 7, top 10, top 12, whatever, you have to go through Hurts to win the Super Bowl. If we're going to constantly talk about in relation to the AFC, Burrow's amazing, Lamar is incredible, Josh is outstanding, but you got to go through Patrick. It's the same to be said for Jalen Hurts in the NFC. The conversation around where we rank him as a quarterback, no one's probably been more critical of him than me, and the play maybe has been up and down or sporadic. But whatever you think of him when it comes to where he is slotted and how much help he has, you have to go through him to get to the Super Bowl. He is the guy. Just like in the AFC, you have to go through Mahomes.
I don't know that I agree with that either. Now, the NFC is just a bit different from a quarterback perspective, or a lot different from a quarterback perspective than the AFC. But when I think about going through someone, how many teams are circling Jalen Hurts saying, hey, obviously we have an elite quarterback today. He can't beat us. So I almost fall in the middle of both of them because I wanted to play both because they're essentially the two extremes. And Dan is not even necessarily saying from a skill position. Dan Orlovsky is really just saying, well, they won the NFC. So I essentially have to say that. I have to say, I don't even know if he believes it. But he feels like he has to say that. So I don't think Jalen Hurts to me is, I don't know, set between 7 and 10 for top quarterback. But Cam saying that, oh, well, Lamar Jackson, even with his weapons, you still see how great Lamar is, kind of got a bit confusing to me. Because is the argument that he has better weapons, or is the argument that he's being carried by his weapons? Let's not forget, Jalen Hurts was in the MVP conversation a couple years ago. He didn't end up becoming the MVP, but he was in that conversation. He was putting up numbers, and they didn't have Saquon at that time.
No, it was DeAndre Swift was putting up those crazy numbers.
So I don't know. Cam, his argument was a little bit all over the place. I don't really agree with any argument. I just think if you win the Super Bowl, you're a top 10 quarterback. ESPN has Jalen Hurts 9. Execs, coaches, scouts rank NFL's top 10 QBs. This was July 14th from our guy, Jeremy Fowler. And 9 feels right. And could he be, they have Jared Goff 8. He could be 8.
Sure.
They got Herbert at 7. Okay, yes. It's the same Brock Purdy conversation. Put Herbert on the Eagles, and he throws for 30,000 yards and just wins the Super Bowl in the first game. Don't know how that's possible, but he does it.
Yeah, it's essentially how many quarterbacks could you have put on that Eagles team and they would have won the Super Bowl too? And I think the answer is probably like 12.
Yeah.
I think there's honestly like 12 quarterbacks or 15 quarterbacks that you could have put on that team and they would have won the Super Bowl last season. So
they got Baker at 10? Sure. Now, who got kicked out? This is what's interesting. Honorable mention, they're calling it.
Probably Brock.
CJ got kicked out.
Okay.
Jordan Love got kicked out. Brock Purdy kicked out. All these guys, and these are not NFL writers. These are scouts. Okay, these are execs, coaches, and scouts.
Well, they got Jaden up there somewhere.
They got Jaden 5.
Yeah, okay.
They got Jaden 5, so he took a spot. Lamar's 4, Burrow's 3.
I guess
Josh Allen's 2, and obviously Mahomes is 1.
Yeah, I mean you've got the 4 who are, way ahead of the pack, right? It's Mahomes, Josh Allen, Burrow, and Lamar, right? You've got those 4. After that, I think the only 3 I could say definitively for sure would have done the same thing on the Eagles last year are Herbert, Dak Prescott, and I would say CJ Stroud.
You are all over the place. All over the place. All over the place.
Jaden is weird because Jaden was awesome last year, but he was also hurt for a good part of it. CJ Stroud, I feel confident just because I know he's awesome at quarterback. He just had an awful offensive line.
Yeah. If I'm choosing 3 others, is it a hot season or not? I mean, I think you could. I don't believe in Jared Goff, even though shout out Cal, but I liked what I saw from Baker. You can always throw Matthew Stafford in there.
Yeah, Stafford is a good shout. Stafford still at this age. I mean, because he kind of did it on the Rams, right? He was the third best player on a Rams team that won the Super Bowl. And I feel pretty confident saying Jalen Hurts was the 3rd or 4th best player on that Eagles team.
You tried to sneak Dak in there. You're not slick. You are not slick.
Dak is up there.
If you're putting Dak there, and we're up against it. But if you're putting Dak there, you need to put Brock Purdy in there.
Right. I think Brock and Jalen Hurts are kind of the same, which is it's hard to evaluate just how good you are because of the team that you have around them. That's why I only feel confident about those 3. Brock maybe, Baker Mayfield maybe, Jaden Daniels maybe, Jordan Love maybe. You could there's a bunch of them that are maybes.
Kyle, you're lucky that we're up against it. When we return, we close out the show. Tell Kyle how ridiculous those picks were, or tell me how ridiculous the picks were. And Ken Rosenthal gives some more insight into what the Giants and A's may be doing. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local, but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton and Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
And we're back, live during a Flex Alert. Dialed in on the thermostat. Oh, we're pre-cooling before 4 p.m., folks.
And that's the end of the third. Time to set it back to 78 from 4 to 9 p.m. Clutch move by the home team. What's the game plan from here on out?
Laundry?
Not today.
Dishwasher?
Sidelined.
What a performance by Team California. The power truly is ours.
During a Flex Alert, pre-cool, power down, and let's beat the heat together. Play and win to take your loyalty to new heights at Sky River Casino. Join Sky River Rewards today for a chance to receive up to $2,500 in free play. Plus, you'll be in the know about upcoming special events and offers. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun with rewards that add up and up. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit us to see how. Must be 21 or over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There was always a crowd gathered around our dining table when I was growing up. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Everyone was welcome at my mother's table, so holidays, birthdays, and celebrations always included family and friends. I used to think I was the most popular kid in the neighborhood until I realized that my friends were really there for my mother's incredible cooking. Years later, when I bought my own dining table from Naturewood, I made sure it was large enough to make friends feel welcome. And right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings' Dine in Style sale, you have an opportunity to find the perfect dining room furniture to help you create your own treasured memories. Choose from casual to formal or anything in between. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings during the Dine in Style sale off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. I love spending a day on the golf course with invited friends, but not with uninvited mosquitoes, which can carry serious diseases like West Nile virus. Don't let mosquito bites ruin your round or your health. Stay safe while playing golf, hiking, or enjoying the outdoors with family. Defend yourself with insect repellent. For tips about your golf game, listen for Golf to Go. But for more tips on protecting yourself and your home from mosquitoes, visit fightthebite.net.
Xfinity TV is the best way to stream your favorite live sports, giving you an incredible viewing experience. From pregame to postgame, Xfinity gives you the best seat in the house with traditional TV, streaming stats and odds right from your TV.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Hello, 3 question marks. Where is the love for Bo Nix? Kid was a stud last year with no weapons. Eric and Lodi love the show. Eric, you know I love Bo Nix. You know I love Bo Nix. He was not on this list, though. He was not on this list.
Yeah, he's pretty game manager-y, if you ask me.
Whoa. But he's thick, though.
Sure, if that's what we're calling it now.
He's a thick guy. He can run some people over.
Okay, so you're saying they'll run the read option with a bunch of screen passes.
Let's see. Out of the teams that or the quarterbacks that were, Baker Mayfield was 10. Honorable mention: C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love, also receiving votes: Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Tua, and Bo Nix snuck in at the very end there. Bo Nix, okay, also receiving votes, the top 10 quarterbacks based on votes from execs, coaches, and scouts. That's from Jeremy Fowler. That came out a little earlier this month, about a week or so ago. 209 asked the question as we were talking about Jalen Hurts. Was Flacco considered a top 10 QB after winning a Super Bowl? Yes. The top of that.
He got paid like it.
Yeah. I mean, he was maybe 8, 9, or 10, but I would say yes.
Whenever someone brings up Joe Flacco, the way I explain it is whatever your opinion about Kirk Cousins is, that's what Joe Flacco was.
I think a better argument, which isn't the same thing, would be because he wasn't the starter, would be Nick Foles. Right? That's your argument. That's who you meant to say 209 was Nick Foles considered a top 10 quarterback after winning a Super Bowl. Now, obviously, different situation, but he did win a Super Bowl. And I would say, no, obviously not. But Jalen Hurts has put together 2-3 really good seasons here. If I'm not mistaken, he's never missed the playoffs as a starter. They got blown out there in Tampa, but Jalen Hurts, I don't understand how we can watch what we just watched and Jalen Hurts. I'm not even saying top 5. I'm not even saying 6. But you're not going to tell me a guy who actually outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl, even though they lost the first time, you're not going to tell me that he's not a top 10 quarterback. Might be closer to 10 than 1, might be a lot closer to 10 than 1. You're not going to tell me that he's not a top 10 quarterback.
Nope.
Come on now.
It's just degrees of how good he can be. Because it's like there's a bunch of quarterbacks I can name that would not have done what he did with the Eagles last year.
Right.
Saquon Barkley and everything included. Like that, this Eagles team was not as dominantly good as the 2017 one that allowed Nick Foles to win.
And you know what? Maybe part of this is just the Stones to play well. The winner, the thing that you cannot measure. Look, man, we've seen Lamar Jackson maybe not do what we all want him to do or would like to see him do in those big moments. Do we know Justin Herbert has a better arm than Jalen Hurts? Justin Herbert is, in all measurables, a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Do we know without a shadow of a doubt that he, in that moment, would have performed as well as Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl? I don't know. And you can argue that he can, but I'm not arguing that he can to the fact where we do this with 10 other guys, and now Jalen Hurts, who actually did it, isn't a top 10 quarterback. That's absurd. That is absurd, man. So give me Jalen Hurts at 7. Give me Jalen Hurts at 8. I got him 7, 8, and if you want to put him at 10, fine. But I'm getting real. Like we said with Justin Herbert now on coach number 3, whatever it is, I'm getting a little sick and tired. I saw a picture. It was if, would, and could. Did you see this, Kyle?
I have
the AI picture.
I have that saved on my camera roll. Yeah, they've been throwing this around for a couple years. So
it's Lamar, Justin Herbert,
and Burrow.
And it's if somebody has a superhero. They're all 3 of them are in superhero costumes. One is if man, one is would man, and one is could man.
There's when.
When, yes.
Yeah, I think Lamar was when. Herbert's definitely if man because they've been calling him that for years now. And then Burrow was would, I think. But yeah. It's really good. I love that joke so much.
So can we put some respect on reality? Can we put some respect on what actually happened versus what could or would have, should have happened? And that's why I said this is the same thing. This is what it would have. We're watching the same thing that would have happened if Brock Purdy won the Super Bowl. Nobody's talking about Brock, and people didn't even want him to get paid. Jalen had already gotten paid.
Well, here's what the difference was, too, is that the Eagles made clear from the very beginning there was never going to be a question that Jalen Hurts was going to get paid. Whether he was a top 8 quarterback or not, they were treating him like it. And that goes a long way in terms of just perception. I think Lurie, the owner, said after 2024, he was like, no, we're going to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's all part of it. Before we close out the show, Ken Rosenthal provided some updates here. This is MLB.com. about the A's in particular. The A's messaging about Mason Miller hasn't changed. They've still been telling teams that he's not available, but general manager David Forst could decide to engage in trade talks for Miller as the trade deadline draws closer and contenders start getting more desperate. It's more likely that the A's will hold on to Miller and trade from their crop of veteran starting pitchers, with Rosenthal reporting that the A's are listening on Luis Severino. And he's somewhere saying, thank you, finally, get me out of here. Jeffrey Springs and JP Sears. I saw a lot of you hitting me up on the text line and the chat. Yes, it is true. It looks like Rafi Devers is getting his first start at first base. Hopefully that helps him hit, because he's been awful. The Giants have lost 6 straight, and they do not look like a team. And this is not, Kyle knows because he's a Padres guy. I was never moved about Bob Melvin. I didn't even post about it because I didn't want to be that guy to say, I told y'all on Bob Melvin, but I did. Not that I think he's a bad guy, not that I think he is a bad manager, but I was just not moved. I was never moved. And you're sitting there watching Jung-Hoo Lee let Ronald Acuna Jr. score from first base. Then Elliot Ramos, who is it is just a clown show in the outfield between Jung-Hoo Lee and Elliot Ramos. They let that ball fall. Willie Adames finally starting to hit, but he's just fielding a ground ball is optional. It's just ridiculous, man. And Bob Melvin is just sitting there in his post-game presser in front of his desk, as he always does. Yeah, we just got to be back. Hayden Birdsong couldn't even, they kicked his butt to the AAA, option to AAA. He didn't even record it out. And Bob Melvin, I would talk to him. He's got to pitch better. Where's the passion, man? This is what I was talking about. They're calling him Sleepy Bo. We don't want that. What we do want, Drive Guys coming up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jake Johnson. Draper is in. Next 4 hours down south, Sacktown Sports. Square back like to be.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant,